Hello. There's some shit I wanted to react to now. I kind of forgot. There's that UFC terror plot that was foiled. What's it called? Oh yeah.
Bell's Pandemonium Pendulum Squat might be my favorite thing they make. It's 3 machines in one because it's a home gym item, so of course it is, but I genuinely like all 3 movements on this, and that's rare because typically when a machine tries to do a lot, it sacrifices something. Now, that doesn't mean it's perfect, and I'm not the guy who's going to tell you I use this for all types of other movements. Sure, you can do other things on it, but if you're like me, you probably won't. Making this the part of the video where I ask you to subscribe so that companies keep sending me things for reviews. And if you enjoy our content, then check out the links in the description because that on our Patreon
everybody?
is the best way to support the channel. All right, we'll talk about the various other things you can potentially do with this. But first, let's talk about the reason you probably clicked in this video. Pendulum squats. So I'm just gonna hop in here, and then to release the weight, I'm just gonna rotate this handle here. You'll notice there's 3 pegs. These are movable. So there's just an upright right here. You can put them wherever you want. These are just the heights that work well for Winnie and I. And then
Yes, buying and selling organs should be illegal. If you legalize it, then you're just gonna have a fuck ton of human trafficking. Dodo Donatillo's Grifter Academy.
Wait, tell me the pillars again. So it's pro-life.
So, First Amendment, Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and veteran and first responders.
Okay.
And
First, second. Yep. Cool. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, our veterans, I feel very passionately about. Do you guys, if you're going to talk about, I mean, you hate to even call them political issues, but do you specifically say like the left or the right, or is that something you try to kind of refrain from?
I think in our marketing.
Like if I were to say something to the effect of like the left is still doubling down.
Yeah, you can say.
Yeah. Well, that's influencers for you.
Okay, I've heard you introduce from the beginning, so.
I think her only truly, like, real belief is that she's racist. Like, that's really it.
Okay. First, that's what I needed to figure out
And
really
maybe
quick.
homophobic.
Is when I first, I mean, definitely over a year though.
You know what's funny? I first found out about her on some porn site. I'm really into race play. And somebody made some, like, compilation of her, like, talking shit about black people or, like, no, white girls dating black dudes. And that's the first time I, like, found out about her. Like, there's literally, like, it's race play fetishists, like, jerk off to, like, what she says about white girls dating black dudes. It's hilarious.
I would say, can I just say that, like, around 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Wait, tell me the pillars again. So it's pro-life.
So, First Amendment, Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and veteran and first responders.
Okay.
And
First, second. Yep.
That's about right.
You guys are crazy. Thank you for 1 million followers. Hi, I'm Julius. 6 years ago, during the COVID lockdown, I hosted sourdough baking classes named after my sourdough starter, Hermann. Excited by the possibilities of sharing my love for natural food through videos, I soon started posting recipe content. At first, there were hacks like making tofu out of chickpeas, but when I switched to a plant-based diet, I shifted my focus towards traditional dishes from around the world that just happen to be vegan. I traveled to Italy, Turkey, India and Mexico, learning from locals and sharing their stories in long-form YouTube videos on my channel. And now, I've hit a milestone I never imagined possible. Chasing metrics is an impossible race, but knowing that so many of you care about the content I share makes it ever more exciting that this is only the beginning of this traditional plant-based journey.
Well, that's cool. It's good that there's more vegan influencers.
Walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be...
America is going to give $300 billion to Iran. That's literally not what he said. Oh, yeah. I looked into that claim that the U.S. transferred like something like 30 billion or something, or it was like 25 billion to Iran through Qatar. I think those were just frozen funds. So they were like cut off from SWIFT or something, and some of their funds were frozen. It's not that America's literally taking taxpayer money and just giving it to Iran.
Skeptical of this is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide.
JD Vance is such a terrible, like, he's just terrible at public speaking, interviews. Like, he's such a fucking incompetent idiot.
In order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline.
One good thing that seems to have come out of this is there seems to be a lot of infighting within the IRGC, and there's like 2 or more factions that are fighting each other. So you might actually end up seeing, you know, the regime falling just because of the infighting and shit.
Walk through some of this. The Iranians are...
I already saw that one. CIA Director Ratcliffe told President Trump and other officials that intelligence gathered by the U.S. raised serious doubts about Iran's willingness to make nuclear concessions. The U.S. is seeking in any final deal. Well, we'll see. They definitely don't want to give up the nukes. But, like, again, they're gonna have to. Like, it's... So...
The simplified ethnic map, it shows China proper, and the curious might ask, how did the Han wind up with all the prime real estate? Because what's arable is there. And the answer would be, well, they laid waste to the competing Dzungar and Tibetan empires. I bet you've never heard of the Dzungars. They were wiped out by the Qing dynasty a long time ago. In the continental world, you're faced with a binary choice. You either become Han or they will kill you. And so you got to get out of Dodge and flee south or do something else. And genocide is what happens to the losers in continental warfare. And apparently in our own day, the Uyghurs are slated for genocide.
Yeah. It's funny how nobody talks about that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. And all the lefties downplay the Uyghur thing. Oh, wait. Is it not showing the alert box? I'll look at that in a minute. Kid Boo donated $2.
Biggest style inspiration. Of course, I'm talking about Bleach by Tai Kubo. The style in Bleach is a highly individualized language used for environment grounding, character development, and thematic signaling, but also to just show incredible fashion prowess.
The character designs and the shit they wear is just some of the worst shit I've ever seen.
In the earlier chapters and the color spreads, the main cast's casual attire serves as a love letter to early 2000s Tokyo streetwear. Punk-influenced Harajuku, graphic tees, baggy jeans, studded belts, big headphones. These are the uniforms of Ichigo. And then Inoue's softer palettes with their highly feminine silhouettes, or Chad's oversized jackets that act as an armor to reflect his character's personality. And I've always felt there's been parallels between Kubo's work work, and fashion designers like Yohji Yamamoto, Junya Watanabe, Rei Kawakubo, Rick Owens, and even brands like Hysteric Glamour or If 6 Was 9.
One of the things I don't like about Bleach is everyone looks the same. Like, they all have the same face shape. Like all the angles and like their general proportions. It's like they all look like the same fucking character.
You can also see Kubo's fashion philosophy in the Fullbringers, whose fashion is heavily based on Victorian silhouettes that have kind of this modern steam.
Yeah, I just can't get into fucking Bleach, dude.
Much, I agree.
No, yes.
Yes.
My boy right there.
Free Palestine from Hamas, we agree.
Yes, bro. I hate Israel, bro.
I said Hamas. Aren't they Palestinians?
No. Hamas is created by Israel, bro.
Hamas is created by the Muslim Brotherhood.
You gotta understand that Hamas was created by Benjamin Netanyahu.
Sure. Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't even the prime minister at the time. How was it created by Benjamin Netanyahu?
Let me talk first.
Hold on just a second. You said something stupid. When did Benjamin Netanyahu become a prime minister? You made a stupid claim. Now deal with the claim.
I live in the United States.
I don't care.
I'm Saudi, and I'm Muslim.
Good.
Nobody likes you guys, bro. Nobody in the entire world likes you guys.
Got you.
Like,
you did 9/11. Nobody likes you. Listen.
Name one country.
Listen to what I'm saying. Right, you said Benjamin Netanyahu created Hamas. Benjamin Netanyahu became prime minister or became a leader in 1990.
This is why you don't let Muslims into your fucking country. Like, look at the inside of this guy's fucking house. Like, they want to turn like everything into fucking Saudi Arabia or something. It's just ridiculous. These people come here, like, literally promoting terrorist regimes, and then they decorate the inside of their house like this, as if they're still living in the fucking Middle East.
96. When was Hamas created? What year? Hamas was created in the year 1987 in the first Intifada. If Benjamin Netanyahu became the prime minister in 1996, how does it make sense that he created Hamas? They stemmed from the Muslim Brotherhood, and they came during the first Intifada when there was violent riots against Jews. Sure, Benjamin Netanyahu created Hamas. That claim doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, these people are fucking stupid. Their whole political strategy with supporting Hamas and like saying shit about Israel is literally just making up lies.
Let's do an experiment, a social experiment, just like right now. Do rights exist?
I mean, they exist because something makes them exist.
Yeah, they exist inside your mind, right?
Yeah, it's metaphysical if you think about it.
But if somebody violates my rights, you going to use force?
You get someone to use force for you.
Whatever. So you're willing to use force for a thing that doesn't exist because you believe in it.
Right. What's wrong?
So hang on. So a Christian, you think Christianity is not true, right?
Yeah.
So we believe in something also that is not true according to you. But if you violate it, we'd be willing to use force in order to do something about that, like you would for my rights. So what's the difference?
That argument doesn't make any fucking sense. Rights are an ideal that's upheld through physical force. Like, what point is he making? I haven't read Vagabond. I've got to, I really want to watch the Monster anime. Might be better to just read the manga. I've been meaning to watch or read Monster. And Vagabond's definitely one that I'm going to have to read, even though it's never going to be finished. Thanks for the donation, though, Kid Boo. Yeah, it's...
Guess what special surprise guest the Young Turks have on?
Give me one. Why is this not... Fucking Streamlabs. Give me a second. don't know if that fixed it. Let me see, Dodo.
We've seen Mayor Mamdani in New York offer up kind of a virtuous version of DOGE, which is COGE, the Commission on Government Efficiency. And so do you think it's possible here that that could serve as a blueprint, not for the bad faith, corrupt iteration of what Elon Musk was trying to do, but something other Democrats should kind of seek to co-opt as we move forward?
The answer is yes. Capital Y, capital E, capital S. You're quite right. What DOGE was about is trying to dismantle the U.S. government, make it less effective in regulating companies like Musk's, and also weakening the ability of the government to deliver for the American people. But having...
I honestly think it was just retarded. Like, they canceled, like, weird... Well, not weird programs. They canceled, like... They canceled things that they wanted. Like, it was just complete and utter incompetence. They definitely wanted to deregulate things, but I mean, I think it had more to do with incompetence.
Said that, Brian, if you think that there is not massive amounts of bureaucracy within the government, in the federal government, in many state governments, local governments, you would be wrong.
Yeah.
And often that is not to do with the workers themselves, it's the kind of management that they have. So I think when I was mayor of Burlington, about 200 years ago, I think I got myself on the front page of the Wall Street Journal because we ran an efficient government. So I wanted to put money into children, into the arts, into housing, into the needs of ordinary people, not into bureaucracy, not into consultants and all that stuff. So I think Mamdani is focusing on how you can make a very large government more efficient.
Oh my God, dude, just the Democratic Party is just absolutely fucking cooked at this point. Like, are you fucking serious? Mamdani, like, we already have historical precedent for this. We've had left-wing mayors that have tried to use similar policies that have made, like, given New York the problems it has. And then somebody like Rudy Giuliani comes along, reverses everything. New York gets better. They make more money. Housing becomes more affordable. And then they vote in another left-wing fucking lunatic. And then everything goes to shit again.
I have a working distance, and those bears must maintain that working distance of at least...
Yeah, I've already seen this.
And they're very exploratory.
It's not a good idea to let polar bears around dogs. They'll kill and eat anything. If a polar bear is hungry, they're killing and eating those dogs. They'll also hunt humans. So, not a good idea. This is why China does mass surveillance. I can't watch that. Fuck. You can't send me links of anybody holding a firearm. It's YouTube's gay dumb fuck policy.
Are familiar with Giordano Bruno, very famous as a martyr for science because he was burnt at the stake by the Inquisition. Fewer people know that that was not his first Inquisition trial. He was investigated a number of times by the Inquisition. The earlier trials had the usual outcome for that kind of trial of he had a patron, the rich people that he worked with or for, or the university was hosting him, they put in a good word, he's fine. The Inquisition tells him, be good, and things continue as they are. That time, he had angered the person he worked for. He pissed off his patron. And it's his patron who turns him into the Inquisition and says, this guy is a charlatan. He promised he could teach me these things that he can't. I don't trust him. He's no good. Throw the book at him. And the reason that trial goes all the way to a capital sentence is that he doesn't have a patron. And if he had had a patron protecting him, despite how radical his stuff was, he would have been okay. The whole structure of the justice system expects the intervention of a patron, persuading the judge to give you mercy. So when we see 100 trials end in 99, the person paid a small fine, and 1, the person was executed. What that actually means is 99, their patron stepped in, and 1, that person had fallen out of the patronage now. That person had angered their boss, their protector. That's why.
All right, thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo Nutellers, are they... Why is the fucking... I don't know. Are they milking the franchise too hard? No. It's kind of been a while since there's been a Shrek movie. Oh. Wow. So fast. Oh. Cats are amazing. Oh. Kitties are so silly. Love how that one cat's just looking at him. Bee. Oh. Wow.
Thankfully was thwarted after the U.S. Secret Service and FBI uncovered.
What were we watching? Oh, yeah. We'll watch that in a bit. I want to watch the Pendulum Squat review first.
And with the safety set, you'll see I can still get a real good stretch, an awesome range of motion there. You might have also noticed this large counterweight, and that's because pendulum squats can be a little bit bottom heavy, which is why I like them so much. But without that on here, you may find yourself getting stuck in the hole. And I mean, I get it, I've been there, I got 3 kids, but now here at the bottom, this is gonna be a lot heavier than here at the top. So the pad and the arm weigh about 60 pounds. So you need about 130 pounds to fully balance this thing out, which of course, you know, your favorite home gym nerd had to test out. So we just end up just leaving 2 plates on here because that's what feels really good to us. But it's cool that you can kind of manipulate the resistance curve by adding or subtracting weight. You can actually even put bands on the counterweight to manipulate the curve there. And you can even put bands here as a weight source for, you know, whatever exercise you're doing. It's a really good pendulum squat, but I do have a few complaints. The first one would be, you can see here that I tend to like to put my feet kind of at the extremes of the foot plate, so as wide and as high as they can be. So I'd like this if it was maybe a little bit longer and wider. Number 2 would be, you can see at 6 foot tall, I'm about maxing out the length of this back pad. So if you're super tall, this might not work well for you. And number 3 would be for Winnie. And that's when she uses this arm right here, it's kind of at her max reach. So what you're supposed to do is keep your hands on this, at least that's what the sticker tells me. But what Winnie's supposed to do and what she actually does are 2 different things. It would also be nice if this platform could slide forward and backwards like some other pendulum squats do. But outside of that, it works really well for us. And for those wondering, Winnie is 5'6". So a lot of those things I mentioned might not even be factors for you. And really they're just minor annoyances to us, because otherwise this works really well for pendulum squats for us. And we tend to use them as an accessory movement after squatting because they're great for hypertrophy work. If you're looking for a quad dominant exercise, or maybe you want to take some load, some stress off your spine versus something like a barbell squat, they're great for that. Pendulums are also a little more beginner friendly. It's a simpler movement and a more controlled movement, so in discomfort in my knees, but we've had this on it and impress their kids, but I will tell you, this is not the machine you're going to impress your family. How that works, so since this is set kind of low right, it works really well. This calf raise block is welded on, by the way, but I don't really see that being an issue. So it's not adjustable, but there is some adjustability here. So this foot plate can tilt in 6 different positions. There's just a single mag pin back there. And this safety is also adjustable. So it can drop way down to about there and go all the way up here. But because of how this is built and designed, it really can only go into this one position here. Now, this is not the proper way to set this up. You're supposed to not have weight on here, and then you get the arm in position and then install the safety and drop the arm back down. But when you're an idiot with a YouTube channel, you don't always follow the directions. And I guess technically there's nothing stopping around, or even add things like movement, or you can even turn around and press backwards. There's a neutral grip handles right here, so you could press this way, almost more like a strict military press, do a push press. It's entirely up to you. To me though, I find this to be more comfortable because of the natural arcing pattern of a Viking press machine. I mean, let's be honest, it is pretty long, but I suppose if you're not going to be using these for pressing, you could just
considering getting that. Donated $3. Let me see.
Under the Western Empire, you get punished for having a conscience. The UK has sentenced 4 anti-genocide activists to years in prison on terrorism charges, and the US is working to deport a prominent foreign policy analyst for criticizing the war in Iran. 4 members of the group Palestine Action were sentenced to a combined total of 25 years in prison on Friday for breaking into a UK weapons factory owned by Israeli company Elbit.
Yeah, they're literally committing acts of terrorism.
Systems in 2024 and damaging some of the genocide machinery contained therein.
Okay, that guy's a gay fucking retarded faggot. Okay, thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Messages
that play twice? I don't know.
discussing the plan. But the investigation is active and ongoing because there are still suspects at large, we are told. As of now, 5 people throughout America, West Virginia, California, Nebraska, Ohio, they're facing charges, including conspiracy to murder and conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States. Federal charging documents just released claim that the suspects plotted to kill government officials and others. One document reads, quote, "The co-conspirators discussed using drones to drop explosives on the north side of the White House to create panic and funnel event attendees toward locations where the co-conspirators would have snipers prepared to kill certain high-value targets. The co-conspirators' murder plot appears to have been motivated by their anti-government ideology." As for specifics on that anti-government ideology, court documents indicate that some of the group, quote, may share some Christian-based, unquote, ultra-religious ideology. One of the suspects allegedly said he wanted to target a U.S. senator because that senator had, quote, taken money from the pro-Israel lobby and supports them. CNN's Brian Todd has the latest on the investigation, plus more of the concerning details of this plot.
An energetic, crowded UFC event at the White House, with President Trump in attendance, members of Congress and VIPs, all potential targets of an alleged planned attack using drones and snipers. And according to the Secret Service, there are still suspects on the loose. According to a federal law enforcement official and criminal complaints obtained by CNN, a group of alleged online extremists planned and coordinated an attack at Sunday night's UFC fight on the White House lawn in order to, quote, jumpstart a revolution in the United States. But they were thwarted.
It was a serious threat. It was an active plot, and it's ongoing.
According to a criminal complaint, the plan was to, quote, stage a demonstration on the north side of the White House, then detonate drones over the arena, forcing the attending crowd to evacuate, where the group would act as snipers to conduct shootings of the members of the crowd and HVTs, high-value targets, including, quote, both wealthy people and politicians. Retired FBI agent Richard Kolko says it's...
You know, it's funny, I was watching this event and I suspected there was going to be an attempted terror attack. I was right.
It's not likely the alleged attackers could have enacted their plot in full, but they could still have inflicted some significant damage.
If they had brought firearms, brought explosives, come to the area, found out where the perimeter was, and gone forward and carried out some sort of attack, people could have died, people could have been hurt, and it could have been very, very serious.
According to court documents, the online group were ex-military, Christian-based and anti-government, with anti-Israel and anti-Jewish views. The Justice Department has charged 5 people across California, Missouri, Nebraska, and Ohio in the alleged plot. The investigation began when the mother of a 19-year-old in custody, Tyson Proper, alerted authorities that she was concerned about her son, who she says was communicating with radical people online and amassing an arsenal of weapons, including, according to Proper's father, an AR-style rifle and several boxes of ammunition.
This mom did exactly...
That is not a AR-15 style rifle. That is clearly very different.
Did exactly the right thing. She knew something was up with her son, something was wrong, and she picked up the phone, made the call, and probably saved lives.
Wow.
The charges include conspiracy to murder and conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States. Now, as for the one defendant, Tyson Proper, the criminal complaint does not say that he purchased any drones, but it says he did purchase multiple firearms and ammunition. Tyson Proper has not yet entered a plea. CNN has reached out to a public defender listed for him. Jake?
All right, Brian Todd, thanks so much. Let's discuss with CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller and former CIA counterterrorism official Phil Mudd.
White Christian guys.
John, this was not a lone wolf attack plan. This appears to be highly coordinated, even including these messages where snipers where they should be placed, where the drones should be launched. How concerning is this, and how close do you think they were to pulling it off?
Well, and I thought Christians were supposed to be loving.
Yeah, apparently not. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Well, extraordinarily concerning. And ironically, I speak of all the things I learned from Phil Mudd when we were working at the FBI at the same time, which is, how do you measure these plots when they come in? There's people in the chat room, they're talking big about taking action. What you measure is intent versus capability. So you get a lot of intent in these very specific chat rooms where they're talking about operationalizing this multi-level attack. But where do you see the capability? You see the capability, as Brian Todd just reminded us, where multiple members of this group purchased thousands of dollars worth of equipment each, pooled money to get more equipment, plotted escape routes, thousands of rounds of ammunition, multiple high-powered weapons. And this wasn't a suicide mission necessarily, because they also purchased body armor and plate carriers that could withstand military-grade ammunition. So the clock was ticking when all of this started around the 10th or the 11th with the first tip, because this event occurred on Sunday, the 14th. It was very close. And there are more.
Wow, just because some dude's mom reported him to the police.
People that they are still trying to identify and find.
Can I just ask you on that, John? Why did they announce all this if there are still more people to find? Wouldn't they normally wait until they've caught everybody? They don't want to tip anybody off.
That's true, but I think some of the reality of this is once they started filing these court documents in a public way, and once the chat group,
What's really weird is I think J.D. Vance was getting interviewed about this. And he said something to the effect of, this was a leftist terror plot. These are fucking Christians. I highly doubt they're left-wing Christians, maybe. But they seem to be, weird, just weird, radical, insane Christians. I'm going to donate $2. Mamdani brought the city's deficit to zero. He didn't. Didn't he get something like an $8 billion bailout from the state? Achieved universal child care. Yeah, that's what he plans on doing. Enforce Tenant Protection Act. Well, again, that's what he plans on doing. And the whole tenant protection, it's just a joke, dude. The whole reason there are these slumlords in New York is because there's so much rent subsidized housing that landlords can't increase the rent on. They're not able to make any money, which means they're not able to make any fixes, improvements, or updates to any of the units. So then when he plans to, I'm going to enforce these things Well, you're just going to see a bunch of landlords file for bankruptcy, and already, I think there have been 2 landlords that have filed for bankruptcy. So you're just going to, like, you're not going to see anything happen. Like, worst case scenario, you're just going to have buildings that just become condemned, and then there's less available housing. Reasonable taxes on properties worth over 5 million. That's debatable. They already have, like, isn't it like the highest or second highest fucking tax rate in the entire country? And crime, gun violence has been an all-time low in 30 years. That's not true. It's increased. That's absolute bullshit. What they've been doing is they've been downgrading offenses. So that's made up. But yeah, Democrats are cooked. Yeah, cool story. I don't care. Emma donated $2. Mom Donnie brought the... Oh, wait. I already... Dad donated $2.
Seems impossible. Am I wrong?
You might be, but you might not be. And here's why. I'm going to say something positive about Trump. So hold on.
Okay. I've got a grip on my chair right now.
Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza is actually a pathway to security for Israel, reconstruction for Gaza, and the possibility of self-determination, however defined, for the Palestinians. There are a lot of people who, reject it because Trump did it, but it's the only game in town. There's nothing else. And I've engaged in some, kind of track 2 diplomacy with Israelis, not in the current government, former governments, military, intelligence, political officials, Palestinians, Arabs. So it's a very painful discussion because, these are experienced people with lots of scars to show for their efforts over many years, not just on peace, but on security, particularly.
Yeah, Hillary's not dumb. She's actually a pretty smart woman. But Code Pink's fucking stupid.
We don't know exactly how these models were used. What you're talking about is a use case that doesn't even violate our red lines.
That is the CEO.
This is so fucking stupid. There were 13,000 targets that the U.S. Basically found out by using Anthropic's AI software. 13,000 targets across all of Iran. And they made one mistake. And they're whining and crying about it. If that was done by a human being, I can guarantee you the military operation would be less successful and there would be more mistakes. So it's just fucking retarded.
Of Anthropic, an AI company, when asked about the use of his product when the U.S. bombed an elementary school in Iran. 73.
Right, so we should just leave things up entirely to human beings. Human intelligence wouldn't have been able to designate 13,000 targets, and they would have made more errors. So you would have had a less successful military operation that would be more prolonged, and there'd be more civilian casualties. So this is just fucking retarded. I don't know if we're gonna watch that, dude. I don't even know
Trump's
what that's
instinct
about.
is probably to start the printing presses.
Yeah, maybe we can watch that later. Thanks for the nation, Dodo. Where the fuck am I with the... This is weird.
Gee, I wonder what kind of excuse MAGA Christians will make for these guys.
Who knows? Thanks for the donation, Jodo. Chem T, don't tell is important videos. Yeah, that's good. Owl has his ball. Okay, thanks for the donation, Cam. Alawali sperm. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Oh my god, just...
Thankfully was thwarted after the U.S. Secret Service and
Sea fight on the White House lawn, based and
discussed with CNN chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst John. How close do you think they were to pulling it off?
Well, extraordinarily concerning. And ironically, you know, I speak of all the things I learned from Phil Mudd when we were working at the FBI at the same time, which is, how do you measure these plots when they come in? There's people in the chat room, they're talking big about taking action. What you measure is intent versus capability. So you get a lot of intent in these very specific chat rooms where they're talking about operationalizing this multi-level attack. But where do you see the capability? You see the capability, as Brian Todd just reminded us, where multiple members of this group purchased thousands of dollars worth of equipment each, pooled money.
Can I send a UK drill? I'd rather you not.
Money to get more equipment. Plotted escape routes, thousands of rounds of ammunition, multiple high...
Just ask you on that, John, why did they announce all this if they're...
It was kind of out there, but I think what they did focus on was the 5 people who were most committed as leaders here. But, you know, you do make a point. Everybody is likely to go to ground, but they'll get them because they always do.
Phil, court documents say that inside suspect Brian Omar Roa's vehicle, the FBI found firearms, a tactical belt, and radios. The mother of suspect Tyson Proper said she was concerned about his recent firearm purchases and physical training. The wife of suspect Daniel Eskridge said her husband had purchased a large amount of tactical equipment over the past few months. Does it sound to you like the Justice Department is building a pretty solid case?
Yes, I think the case is solid. I would go back to what John said. You would typically, as you suggested, Jake, want to let this case roll out. You want to get the entire spider web before you take down any pieces of it. And the reason, as you point out, is we see a lot of capability here. People who are thinking about this, people who may be in contact with others who have acquired maybe automatic weapons and ammunition. So when I look at this plot and sophistication, as you're saying, it looks pretty serious in terms of the potential capability. I'm not saying it's the most sophisticated thing I've ever seen, but they had to move when they had to move because I think the story started to leak out. But man, that number of weapons, that's a lot.
And John, it appears that these suspects are right-wing extremists, and yet in one of the court documents, Special Agent Mercedes Smith says an interesting message from one of the suspects, Abraham Alvarez, who went by the online username Shepard, quote, Shepard sent the following messages. Targets confirmed. 1, 2 VP, 3 N, 4 Musk. Based on my training and experience, I believe this to mean 1 was likely identifiable with President Donald Trump, 2 was likely referring to Vice President J.D. Vance, 3 N was likely referencing the screenshot referring to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and 4 Musk likely referred to Elon Musk. What do you make of that?
Well, this is a very special brand of extremists. This is from a category that we in the intelligence community referred to as accelerationists. They're not just against blacks, they are. They're not just against Jews, they definitely are. Some of them are against women altogether. They're against government, and that's the key. They want to topple the government. The word accelerationist means to accelerate the fall of society. They want to topple the government. They believe
not just any owl, a burrowing owl, the only species that lives in tunnels underground.
I am here at Matador that things are migrate from all over the prairie dog towns here at the Matador.
That's cool. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Believe in their doctrine that that will cause a race war across the country and that they'll use all of these heavy arms and ammunition and so on.
So that's insane. These are right-wing extremist Christians who hate blacks, Jews, and women. And then JD Vance is on TV saying these are leftist extremists. Like, the fuck?
To battle that on the part of white people. They don't like immigrants. They don't like migrants. And I'll remind you, because we went through this together, Jake, recently we had that attack by two very young accelerationists, another 19 and 18-year-old at the San Diego Islamic Center, where they had their 70-page manifesto and so on. So what we were seeing is the kind of high-profile event that they thought would cause the government to react, for society to react, and that this could have been a catalyst.
We should also note that the counterterrorism strategy put together by President Trump and Sebastian Gorka didn't really emphasize right-wing extremism at all. And here is yet another example of right-wing extremism. Phil, if intelligence agencies know these types of extremists are out there, what's the best way to ensure that they stop as many of these plots before they can carry them out? What kinds of operations are happening behind the scenes?
What you said is really critical because it starts at the top. The message to the workforce has to be all your resources have to go against the target, in this case, right-wing extremists. And so those resources, that sounds really boring, that sounds Washington Beltway, but that means people and money. So if you're in Topeka, if you're in Los Angeles, if you're in Miami, if you're in Chicago, the message from the top says, in this case, as you mentioned, Sebastian Gorka, we don't pay much attention to that, people. That means the field offices aren't spending people and money. The way to go against these people, Jake, is you got to spend a lot of resources looking at them online. You got to develop informants. You got to talk to tip lines. That's a lot of people. So the message from the top has to be, you can spend those people.
So it was crazy right-wing extremists. New subscriber, just heard some of what you said on Kick or Keep. Find myself in agreement with any of your takes. Well, that's cool. Which one did you watch? Did you watch the one with Ice Poseidon? Is that the one you saw? Vance and Hegseth are weasel commies themselves, lying rats. How the fuck is Vance and Hegseth commies? I don't know where you got that.
You know, have the central bank buy infinite government debt that he can then use for populist goodies, and by the time it catches up with us and we screw ourselves, he'll be dead. J.D. Vance would then be the American Maduro, stuck with this rapidly expanding inflation. And there can be, this very rapid shift in expectations where people say, okay, America's done, like they're not going to pay their debt back, this thing is collapsing, let's head for the exits, and then there's the stampede. The capital flights in the United States would be a truly apocalyptic economic event.
I'm here with Noah Smith. Noah, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You've got a great Substack, which many people will have read. It's Noah Opinion, pun on your name.
No opinion.
No Opinion. But they can find you, no doubt, under your name as well over there on Substack. There's a lot to cover. I mean, you touch many interesting topics, but summarize your background first, and then we'll just jump into your wheelhouse.
All right. Well, background. I was originally a physics major in college. Then I lived in Japan for a while. Then I did a PhD in economics at the University of Michigan. Worked for a couple of years as a finance professor at Stony Brook in New York, and then quit to become a writer.
Yeah.
And so now I just write about economics.
Well, you're good at that, and you produce these very clear articles that walk people through issues of great importance to our society. And it's a pity we don't spend more time thinking about some of these issues. I want to raise the first one, which you wrote about recently, and I think you've had some change of opinion on. That's the national debt. I don't think I've touched the national debt at all on this podcast. I think maybe I asked Lloyd Blankfein one question about it, and I can't even remember why he wasn't more worried about it. But I really kind of want to walk through this.
Dodo don't need $2 based or beta.
When I say that women are more emotional, oftentimes that does relate directly to our biology and our hormone cycle, which is ever changing throughout a month. We're changing so much all the time, and you're not.
Sure, you can say that, but you're weaving a just so story. You're taking one biological fact and you're pretending like you're able to tell a coherent story afterwards. I could just as easily say the fact that women fluctuate in hormones more means that they're more able to deal with fluctuating emotions and ideas rather than men, who, when they get triggered by something, decide to kill somebody. And that would be an example.
This is like arguing whether or not women are better at sports. Like, I think it's pretty obvious women are more emotional. And there's like actual empirical data to support this. Why would he claim, why would he make the argument that, oh, well, maybe because their hormones fluctuate, they're actually better able to deal with their emotions? Look at the rates of mental illness between men and women. Women have way higher rates of mental illness. So depression, anxiety, shit like that. And there's actually growing evidence that more women are actually on the psychopathic spectrum too. Women have far more suicide attempts, quote unquote. Who knows if a lot of those are actually legitimate suicide attempts or just attention-seeking tactics. But like the rates of mental illness among women is far higher. It's like double. And you can also look at rates of like anorexia, bulimia, eating disorders, way fucking higher with women.
I been to Poland and UK and New Jersey, bruh. Too many trips, I'm tired as hell. Also, I'm still gay. Remember when you went to Australia and I was stalking you the entire time? You never turned around. I was right behind you. I still am. Don't turn around.
Okay, I won't turn around. Thanks for the advice. Appreciate the donation on Wib. That plane flight to Australia was just fucking insane. That was just brutal. Yeah, so this is retarded. It's an empirical fact that women are more emotional and they're less capable of dealing with their emotions. And that's evidenced by the fact that they have higher rates of mental illness. You can also see how they raise children. Women are terrible at raising children. Single fathers are better at raising children than children raised with mothers and fathers. And like the difference between single fathers and single mothers is just a mile long. So women are not able to regulate their emotions, and they basically pass that on to their kids. Kids that are raised by single mothers and even mixed couples like mother and father, they have worse emotional regulation. They're more likely to suffer from anxiety and depression. And just overall, they have, they're worse off. So they're more likely to commit crime. They're less likely to achieve higher education, shit like that. So yes, women are more emotional. That's an indisputable fact. Destiny is just a fucking retard.
Example of testosterone driving men in negative emotional ways, the same way
testosterone does not drive men in negative emotional ways. And again, this is an empirical, indisputable fact. There are randomized trials proving that testosterone improves emotional regulation, reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety, and causes greater feelings of general well-being. And that's with escalating doses of testosterone. So the more testosterone you take, the better you feel, the less depression and anxiety you're going to have. So if testosterone drives all these negative emotions, then why the fuck is it that when you give men higher and higher doses of testosterone, they feel better and they have lessened symptoms of depression and anxiety? So he's a fucktard.
Way that women's periods drive them in negative emotional ways, although women aren't killing anybody for it.
Would you agree that, though, let's say you had a room full of men, a room full of women who had bad relationships, you don't feel comfortable saying that those women would have shed more tears?
Probably. I think women generally cry more.
Okay, so, and that's not tied in any way to their hormones to you, not tied in any way to their emotional reaction to
I mean, it could
things?
be tied to hormones, but again, when we say more emotional, if I give you that same room of people and I say which one was more likely to physically abuse a prior partner?
Women are more likely to abuse their partners. Women actually commit more acts of physical violence in relationships. It's just that because they're physically weaker, they're less likely to seriously harm their partner. So women generally have to use like weapons. So knives, throw chairs, plates, like skillets or something to like seriously injure their partner. But if you actually look at the totality of cases where physical force is used, women are more likely to use physical abuse than men. That's also why you see statistics where lesbian couples have the highest rates of physical abuse, whereas gay couples have the lowest rates of physical abuse. So if men are more violent and are more prone to using like violence, then we should see it should be the opposite. Gay couples should be beating the fuck out of each other constantly, but you don't see that.
Would you say it was more likely the men or the women?
The men.
And it was probably driven by
Yeah, that's wrong. Women are actually more likely to use physical violence.
hormones?
Testosterone.
So how do we say one of the
Testosterone is not linked with physical violence. Like, this is just so fucking retarded. My God, that is just so absurdly idiotic.
And yet conservatives say raising children is females' work.
You definitely don't want to leave it up to women. Especially not entirely. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, so that's just some dumb, gay, cucked, libtard shit.
I'm going to tell you why it's always important to follow the money, and we're going to start with a Pakistani man named Syed Javad Anwar. Now, Anwar was elected to the Texas Board of Higher Education in 2015 by Greg Abbott. Now, who is this random Pakistani man? He's actually the owner of Midland Energy. Midland Energy obviously produces oil and gas for the state of Texas, and although appointed in 2015 to the Texas Board of Higher Education, in 2020 you'll be glad to know that he was Greg Abbott's top donor of $5,599,500 for the 2020 election. But wait, it gets better, because in 2024 he was also the top donor with $6,120,268. But wait, it gets even better, because in Greg Abbott's current election cycle, this man has already became the top donor with a whopping $2,897,086. Wow. Now, with a Pakistani man being his top donor, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So if you're ever sitting here questioning why Greg Abbott isn't putting a stop to the Islamic invasion happening in Texas.
Yep. Republicans, politicians are just fucking whores. But Destiny would tell you, oh, well, there's lots of churches. Why does it matter if more mosques open? I've heard it all.
The revolution put continental empires on notice, not simply because land transport is so much more expensive than sea transport, but because it opened the possibility of a positive sum world order. The land empire MO of beating up all your neighbors, well, it's negative sum. What do I mean by that? Is you're fighting over territory. You're damaging the goods while you're fighting. So whatever someone lost in pristine territory now looks like this. And it's negative sum. You're destroying wealth at a very rapid clip. Whereas the maritime world is, no, boys, don't do it that way. You want to have trading partners. You want to have it win-win, so everybody makes money, so we have compounded growth. And this maritime order is focusing on freedom of navigation, free trade, international laws and institutions that facilitate trade in order to minimize transaction costs so we can maximize the money. And the insurance system for all of this is alliance system. So most countries aren't maritime by geography, but if they all gang up together and they coordinate diverse instruments of national power when they're dealing with these rogue continental states that want to upend the trading system, they can turn out in force to protect the rules that protect them all. And here's the ultimate insurance policy that was created by the greatest generation, which were the conscripts of World War I, the people who were told to go up and over trenches and to see how that would go. And the ones who survived came back and tried to raise their families during the Great Depression. And then by the time they were of the age to be strategic leaders, they're off sending their own kids to fight World War II. And they concluded, and this generation is in Europe and the United States both, They concluded that the solution to Great Depressions and World Wars was institution building on a global scale. And they built institutions that have lasted to the present and held the peace until, in the industrialized world, until Vladimir Putin decided to work his magic. But they create the UN, the IMF, NATO, the predecessor institutions of the World Trade Organization, and also of the European Union. And their idea is, we must hash out our differences with diplomats and lawyers, because when you send the soldiers in, it is whatever gains you think you're going to get are going to be inferior to what you would have done with the diplomats. It's too ruinous fighting each other. All right. So if you look at where the fighting that did go on in the Cold War, because it was cold in the industrialized world, but it was really hot elsewhere, a lot of it's on this Mackinder's intermarginal crescent, which is where the maritime and continental worlds hit. So if there are civil wars going in there, the one side of the Cold War wants to put its finger on the scale, and the other one wants to put its finger on the scale, and there we go. And that is all wealth destroying and helps explain why growth rates and things weren't as, globally had problems, because you're destroying wealth. All right, the maritime world is...
No, single fathers don't do better because they're paid more, even after adjusting for income. Same thing.
Invisible. And
Dodo Nutiller, I think actually after adjustments for socioeconomic status, the effect was greater. You should see if Destiny is on Discord so you can clap his cheeks on the women being less emotional than men claims he made, and also maybe you can talk about Iran. I'm not doing that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
This took me 15 years teaching at the War College to notice the obvious. Sometimes the obvious becomes obvious by stating it, and let's see if it works for you. The continental world is visible because it's about positive objectives. It's all about making things happen. So you want to take territory. You can see it. Either you did or you didn't. But the maritime world is about negative objectives. It's preventing bad things from happening. And you could never prove that you prevented anything. Maybe no one was trying anything to begin with. And it's invisible, right? The thing you prevented never happened. Surprise, surprise, you can't see it. But in the continental world, it's all about positive operational objectives. You're destroying neighbors to take their territory. But at the strategic level, you are destroying wealth at a massive clip. That is a problem. Whereas the maritime world, it's invisible of all the bad things that you're preventing, anyone messing with the international trading order, which you're making your money from, in part, a lot of domestic activity as well. And navies, their missions, more often than not, are also about negative objectives. Not all of them. What are they? And think about naval missions. Most of them happen in peacetime. Yeah, wartimes happens too, but for navies, it's mostly in peacetime. And what are they up to? Mission number one is prevent the destruction of the global trading system. That would be important. Your prosperity hinges on that one. The second really important mission is prevent limits on freedom of navigation, because if you cannot get goods to port,
I wouldn't say my mother did a good job raising me. She meant well, but no. My whole family was like this. They had really poor emotional regulation, and I also had really poor emotional regulation. I almost fucking killed kids when I was in the fucking 4th grade. I shared that story. When I was in the 4th grade, this kid was annoying me, and I had an opportunity where I was alone with this kid on a stairwell. I almost threw him over the fucking stairwell, and my plan was if he didn't die because of the fall, I just try to snap his neck or choke him to death at the bottom. The only reason I didn't do it is because I just thought for a second, and I figured I wouldn't be able to get away with it, and I'd be put in prison or something. I also thought about killing him again. I brought a bow and arrow to school. This is before 9/11 and everything. And I was almost going to shoot him, and he had his back turned to me, so I said, "Hey, David," his name is David. I wanted to see the look of fear in his eyes before I killed him, and I wanted him to see his death coming. And then again, I just thought about it for a second, and then I just didn't let the bow go. But yeah, I did not have good emotional regulation. that was really my entire family, not just my mom. I lived most of my childhood with my my mom and grandparents, but yeah, I had a lot of problems growing up at home, and they weren't exactly the best people to like raise me right. I like the only reason I really turned out well is I think just because I'm smart enough to figure things out on my own. Like if I was a dumb kid, I would have committed murder. If I didn't have that like frontal lobe working well enough, where I could use reasoning skills and shit, I would have killed that kid. So it's just lucky that I was born smart enough to not do that shit. Dodo $22. Why did you start the Sarah Payne video at like 1 hour in? I thought well, that's where the thing started. I thought you gave me a link with a timestamp. Dude, this is fucking hour long and it's already like 10:20. You think I'm gonna watch this? Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
It's almost in an econ 101 way, but big picture, how do you think we should think about the national debt at this point in the U.S.?
The United States is becoming a high debt country compared to other rich countries. And this didn't used to be true. It used to be that European countries were sort of more indebted than us, and Japan was much more indebted than us. And now, after the Great Recession and COVID and sort of the lack of spending, fiscal restraint that we've had in the years since COVID, we are a high debt country. And this carries with it dangers. Nobody knows exactly when debt starts becoming a problem. There's no like hard line. People have tried to define that line and nobody really knows. But at some point, it starts, the problems start creeping in. Private investors start being unwilling to buy the government's debt. So, the government borrows money by issuing bonds, right? It sells bonds, some bonds to foreigners, but most bonds are just sold to like banks or regular people even, but mostly banks. And then, U.S. banks like Chase, buy a bunch of U.S. bonds. And then, they sell these bonds and then, they pay some interest rate on the bonds. But when these private investors or other countries or regular people or whoever become less willing to buy the bonds, they have to offer a higher interest rate to get people to buy the bonds. And so the interest rates go up and up and up. But when the interest rates go up, the government has to roll over its whole stock of debt at those new higher interest rates. And when it has to roll over this debt, it has to pay higher interest costs every month, every year, so out of its budget, and it has to pay those costs or else it defaults. And if there's a government default, the economy crashes and very bad things happen. So the government has to pay more and more interest each year. So it can do one of two things. It can either raise taxes and cut spending, it can exercise fiscal austerity, or it can just borrow more to cover the interest payments. So that's what we're doing right now. We're actually borrowing more and more to cover the increased interest payments on because our interest rates went up, partly because the Fed raised interest rates, partly because people are demanding higher interest rates for long-term bonds. The government has to pay higher interest rates now in its whole stock of debt as it rolls it over. And then so the interest costs per month, per year are going up and up and up. And we're just borrowing to cover that interest too. And that's bad because eventually people realize like, wait, they're not going to really pay this back, are they? And then what happens, interestingly, is inflation. So people realize that what will eventually happen is people might think there would be a default, but more likely is that the government gets the central bank to print money to pay off the debt. It's a little more complicated than printing money, quote unquote, but it's basically that. It's the central bank prints money to pay off the debt. People realize that's going to happen. They realize inflation is coming. And then that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where inflation goes up. Everyone gets poorer. You remember 2021, 22 with 8% inflation? There's some of these countries that can get a lot higher than that. And so then people get abruptly poorer. People's, bonds vanish because inflation devalues debt. And then, so basically bad things happen with that surge of inflation. Everybody gets really, really mad and the economy essentially gets bad.
Well, I want to go over some of that ground again. I want people to understand how this machine is working. There's an interesting connection between interest rates as a lever and inflation as something that the government can decide to control, right? So inflation at a certain point is a bad thing. And one thing that's within the government's power to pull the brakes there is to raise the borrowing rate, right? And this cools off the economy. But as you just pointed out, raising the rate of interest is also working against the government's ability to pay back its own debt, which keeps rolling over.
Exactly. So you have this trap where like people won't buy your debt. So you need to raise the interest rate, to pay off the debt, but then you have to roll over the debt at the new higher interest rate. And so then you have to pay more debt. And so you have to borrow even more. And then people are like, wait a second, I can't lend you that much. And so you have to raise interest rates again. At some point it stops and private demand for your debt just collapses. Chase won't buy your debt. Grandma won't buy your debt. China won't buy your debt. Nobody will buy your debt.
Now, is there any reason to think that the U.S. is anywhere near defaulting on anything or that there's a perception of risk in loaning money to the U.S. government? I mean, we are the backstop for the global financial system on some level, right? I mean, everything is anchored to the dollar, or certainly most things are. This gives us an unusual kind of superpower here. What are the signs of that being more precarious than anyone would want it to be?
So what you want to look at there are interest rates on long-term bonds, and you want to look at the strength of the dollar. So if the strength...
Son Goku Donate Tellers, have you seen the reactions of the Carmelo Anthony verdict? Many racist black people are justifying him stabbing that kid. Claiming self-defense. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it all. They're all lying and making shit up. They're just racists who hate white people, and or they're black supremacists. every argument you have to defend Carmelo Anthony is just an outright lie. It wasn't self-defense. He was trespassing. He's the one who instigated the whole fucking conflict. You can't claim self-defense when you're the instigator, so that immediately shuts down that whole thing. And even if you could claim it self-defense, somebody shoving you doesn't warrant you killing them. So if some random jackass, like drunk idiot, like picked a fight with me on the street, and he's like, did you say something to me? And he shoves me, like, I can't just pull out a knife and fucking stab him to death. There has to be some level of proportionality where the level of the threat has to, the reaction to the threat has to be somewhat counterbalanced. So if the person had a knife, that's a different circumstance where you would suspect, okay, that's a lethal threat, therefore I can respond with lethal means. And certainly if the case is they had a gun. If somebody just shoved you and that's all that happened, then like that's just bullshit. Some of these people are saying he was getting pummeled. He didn't have a single mark on him. Every single witness there just said he was only shoved once. So, like, every fucking thing they're saying to try to defend this kid, it's an outright lie, and they're lying intentionally for a very specific reason, and they're just trying to justify violence on white people. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
I think if the dollar goes down at the same time that the interest rates on long-term U.S. government bonds goes up, that indicates that people are pulling their money out of America, and we have seen some of that recently. If you want, I can explain why those two things together show that. Yeah, no, that would be great, but still, high level, we haven't. You're saying we haven't seen a kind of rush for the exits there in any way that is scary, or you're saying we're seeing something that should be unnerving to people who are paying attention? It's a little unnerving because the idea of the collapse of the U.S.-centric global financial system and a abrupt devaluation of the dollar, a potential U.S. default or inflation, those are two forms of a similar thing. The potential of that should scare people, even if it's not imminent. Right, it's such a bad thing that could happen. It's like you get a blood test and it shows a tiny bit over the level for some cancer marker. You should be worried about that because cancer will really screw you, even if it's only a little bit over the level. And so that's where we are. So is there really no insight into when the debt to GDP ratio goes malignant? I mean, what is it? What is the line? History offers no real instruction. There's nothing.
I think this is a textbook example of tribalism, where if you're someone who's associated within a group and they do something fucked up, you'll do mental gymnastics to justify the wrongdoing to ensure in-group cohesion. It's just human nature.
No, it's not tribalism. It's just simple racial hatred. It has nothing to do with tribalism. It's not... unless you consider racial hatred some form of tribalism where, whites are bad, blacks are good, something like that, but it's just racial hatred. It's not as simple as, people from a certain church covering for their buddy, it's just plain and simple racial hatred. Thanks for the donation, though, Son Goku. Dodo donated $2. Trump committing blood libel.
I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses. And
okay, so Trump's gone full retard. That's great. That's just wonderful. Oh, boy. The only reason he's saying this, by the way, is because he's beefing with Netanyahu. He doesn't even believe this horse shit. What a fucking cocksucker. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
In the theory of economic systems it provides any guidance is just kind of mysticism? Yes. Well, it's not mysticism. It's highly specific to the country. The thing is that you can look at other time periods for our own country and you can look at other countries, right? They aren't necessarily comparable. Right, because what matters is expectations. What matters is when Chase Bank and Grandma in China stop buying the debt. Right. What matters is when all those people stop buying the debt, and we don't know for America right now when that point is.
Oh, stupid question. Is killing a fetus from rape comparable to killing a sleeping orphan child since they both can't feel pain and aren't loved by anyone? No, because one's a fetus and one's a full-grown child, you fucking retard. Do you think something that looks like a fucking bean and like as far as we understand isn't sentient until about 15 to 20 weeks into gestation, that's comparable to a full-grown fucking child, you fucktard? Yeah, killing a fucking bean is the same as killing like a fucking 8-year-old orphan, right? Like fucking, why do you waste my time with these stupid fucking questions, you fucking cocksucker? Forgot my namification detailers are Arabs/Muslims, the new black people in intersectionality. Pretty much. I feel like if the Carmelo thing happened before October 7th, the story would have been a much bigger story. No, I don't know why you'd figure that. Kind of is a huge story, so thanks for the donation, dude.
It's going to be. We could tell you for, Britain many years ago, or Russia many years ago, or America 100 years ago, but those aren't necessarily comparable. Those aren't necessarily the same. There's no reason. There's no law of the universe here. There's no gravitational constant here. There's no law of economics. And some people tried to establish a threshold, but there's no threshold. It's really, you can't put a number on it when people start to get scared. It's when people start to get scared, and there's not even an objective, because expectations based, right? It's based on when all these people decide to stop buying the government debt. And
my Cilia connection, donators. What about Pat made you decide that she was worth all the hassle that women have to offer? I'm with a huge fucking headache right now and feel like after her I don't want to deal with women for a while. I need advice. Finding quality women is kind of hard now. Yeah. Well, most women are fucking crazy. And that's just a statistical fact. You can look at the rates of mental illness among women. And that's only among the ones that know they have a mental illness. There's plenty of fucking crazy chicks that don't even know they have a problem. They think everyone else is the problem. The best thing you can do is just shield yourself from, whatever eventuality could happen. So, there's a lot of crazy women who can fuck with you in plenty of different ways. One way is, they can spread lies about you and say, oh, he raped me or something. Just having keeping a good text message history, making sure that they're not really part of your friend group can help. Sometimes them being in it, a part of your friend group can help also, because everyone knows everyone. So if you knew a chick who's been part of your friend group for a long time, that can help you get to know them, right? Because if they have a reputation, you'll know their reputation. But on the other hand, too, if they don't really talk with any of your friends, then it's kind of harder for them to convince any of your friends that, oh, he raped me or something. So you kind of have to judge things on an individual basis. If you have a chick move in with you, too, having a cohabitation agreement, that can help. Get that signed by a lawyer and have it notarized, type thing. So, just making sure you're not trapped and they don't have a way to screw you over. Because, any relationship you get into, there's going to be some risk involved, when you're dealing with a crazy person, and it's just all about mitigating risk. So, just make sure at any time you can always just walk away without them really being a problem. So, thanks for the donation, though, Mycelia.
Why do black people hate white people so much?
Probably because they're retarded. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I think this guy would disagree with you, VG.
So it's right for a man to go out and rape a woman, get her pregnant, and for her to have that baby, it has to be done that way.
You're saying you're for the murder of rape conceived children?
No, I'm just saying my wife was raped by somebody and she got an abortion. Is it right that she got an abortion or wrong?
That's murder. She murdered.
Murder, man.
What? Look at right here in front of me. We have a person who thinks it's okay to murder rape conceived children at your church, and I'm not supposed to be here. He literally thinks it's okay to murder children.
I didn't say anything about murdering children.
You think it's okay to abort children conceived?
That's great. Faggot. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo $9 and OVG, it gets even worse.
Some end details. I didn't like that he did an attack based on there's a very minor little thing with some drones that were released, and he ends up doing I saw that attack. I saw where that bomb went. Did you see what happened? That was a vicious, that was too much. You can do.
This is the same guy who threatened Iran by saying he's going to completely and utterly obliterate their civilization.
Too much also. But we've had a very effective relationship. Without us, without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel, because no other president was willing to do what I did.
Trump is like the most insane fucking hypocrite. Like, my God. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And that's human psychology, right? We don't know when grandmas and Chase and all these people are going to decide to stop buying the debt. We don't know. Like, it's human psychology.
If men could get pregnant, you'd be able to get abortions at Jiffy Lube. That's just the reality.
Based. And so we don't understand that. And there can be, this very rapid shift in expectations where people say, okay, America's done, they're not going to pay their debt back. This thing is collapsing. Let's head for the exits. And then there's the stampede, right? Where some people head for the exits and then everyone's like, well, those guys are heading for the exits. I better head for the exits too. And everybody tries to stampede out all at once. There's, a million econ papers on how this happens in like poor countries, but it rarely happens in rich countries. But if it does happen, it's really catastrophic. And could it happen? Yes. What's the level of debt that's scary? I can't tell you. Like there's no threshold, there's no tripwire. If there is, we can't see it because it's different for every country and every time period. But how much does our status as the reserve currency for most of the world protect us from this kind of calamity? So the reserve currency.
Life has more meaning than simple utility to me. That's not true. If our reality was hell, and the only way out of hell was to die, you'd think life is not worth living. So that's just bullshit. Life has utility to you. You can experience well-being from living. That's the only reason fundamentally why you enjoy living. I feel like in the future we will understand this better. There's no understanding with meaning. Meaning is created by your mind. It's not something that you can find and discover and, oh, this is where meaning is. It's created by your mind. It's not the same, but it's still wrong in a deep way. You're retarded.
Means that other countries hold dollars as their reserve. They hold a bunch of dollars in order to conduct trades on the international trading system or, buy stuff from America or things like that, invest in America, things like that. The fact that they hold all those reserves is a big part of the reason why this would be such a calamity. If they didn't hold those reserves, it would be much less of a calamity for the world, for us to, for the dollar to drop in value, for America to have a high episode of high inflation or sovereign default, right? But it's not itself a bulwark. Bad. It's not itself a bulwark against a loss of confidence in U.S. debt. It is, but then it absolutely is. But then the thing is that what that means is that it gives us sort of this cushion that our leaders can abuse by, pushing things farther than another country would have been able to push them. And then, in exchange for that cushion, we get a more catastrophic fall if we do fall. We being the world at this point. We being the world, but also the United States. Right. So a capital flight from the United States would be a truly apocalyptic economic event. Well, what are the contributions of modern monetary theory to this conversation? Modern monetary theory is the most poorly named idea since the Holy Roman Empire, which was famously neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Modern monetary theory is neither modern nor monetary nor theory. It is a series of pronouncements by a small circle of people who will change their story on any given day, led by a guy named Warren Mosler and also Stephanie Kelton. And these people, if you ever try to pin down exactly what the MMT people believe about something, unless you're one of the MMT people, they will say, no, you haven't gotten it. And the only way to get it is not to read any papers or books or something like that. You can't, this isn't the kind of knowledge like physics. You can read a textbook and then you can understand physics. Even if all the physics professors in the world died, you couldn't go ask them questions. You could read a textbook and you could understand Newton's laws or electromagnetism or something like that. Economics, orthodox economics, you could understand the models of supply and demand or whatever just by reading a textbook without asking a guru. But with MMT, there's no independent knowledge that they allow you to have. You have to go ask them, is debt too high now? What will happen to interest rates? And they will give you pronouncements from their little mountaintop. Oddly, in 2021, 2022, when people started worrying about debt, before that, they'd spent years saying debt's not a problem, debt's not a problem.
Dodo, Donny Tillers, listen for at least a few minutes. What your thoughts?
Of course. And look, Bibi's been obsessed, as long as I've dealt with him, with two things: Iran, as you know, and his desire to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia. The first formal meeting I had with him in 2009, probably March, at the State Department, it was absolutely, how can we get normalization with Saudi Arabia, and how do we totally decapitate Iran? And he had this view that I think has become very clear in his, dealings with Trump. Number one, decapitate the regime, it will fall. Number two, do enough bombing against enough critical infrastructure, try to, disable the military insofar as possible, the people will rise up. And that was just never our read about what was going to happen, in part because this is a ruthless, theocratic regime that, at least at the top levels, the clerical level, has a kind of apocalyptic view of their own importance in the struggle against Israel, the United States, the West, their Sunni neighbors, the whole map that they look at. And they are also a regime that learned, sadly, a lesson from the overthrow of the Shah. There's a lot of, analysis about why the Shah was finally deposed, but one of the arguments is, at the end, he would not murder his people. He would not order the mass murder.
What do you feel about the term? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
That shit was made up so that teachers wouldn't have to do anything about bullying. So, people are social creatures, and if you don't have to have physical violence brought against you. If you're mistreated to a great enough extent by everyone around you, it absolutely will hurt you, both mentally and physically. So, that's why you see some kids that end up doing school shootings. Like the kids at Columbine. They were horrifically bullied. And the teachers and faculty, they didn't do anything about it. And I can guarantee you that was their... Oh, sticks and stones. Right. If these teachers were treated like that at their fucking job, you'd see HR complaints, they'd file lawsuits, they'd try to get people fired. So that whole thing is just a way to take responsibility off the teachers and faculty from doing anything about bullying. It's fucking stupid. Thanks for the donation, Ronald.
Of the demonstrators in the street. This regime has no such compunction. So if you have a regime that has already proven, as it did last year, they were willing to kill 35, 40,000 Iranians over the protests that were going on. If you have this alliance between the clerics and the military, they have enough folks in their ranks to keep moving up and taking over. Our take on Iran was, absent an effective armed opposition, which we've never seen, and absent some kind of internal dissent, whether a general who would say, I'm not going to tolerate, this any longer.
And not the Shah's son sitting in Virginia or Paris.
You know, I give him credit for being a voice for the aspirations of some of the Iranian people. I do give him credit. He's tried to fill a role that you cannot fill from sitting in Virginia or wherever, but he at least tried to voice the legitimate discontent of the Iranian people. But this regime is not, they're not going to be toppled by, appeals to their humanity, to their, the angels of their, better nature. No, I mean, they are there to stay in power and to promote a, very clear political religious agenda.
So if I hear what you're saying correctly, is number one, Bibi Netanyahu bamboozled Donald Trump, and number two, I don't imagine the intelligence changed radically about the state of play in Iran, that the president ignored not only the advice of his vice president and secretary of state.
Gig retard penis cum 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 gig. Where is gig? Gig?
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for the donation, Non-Wib.
Why do teachers not care about responsibility? VG.
Because they're degenerate fucktards. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
But the intelligence community telling him on the ground this would be a terrible idea.
Well, I can't speak to that. I don't know what was presented to him. I also think coming off the attacks of last June, which I supported the very specific surgical attacks on the known nuclear weapons sites. Mm-hmm. I believed that was a clear mission with very achievable goals. I didn't know whether you could eliminate the program, but I thought you could certainly set it back. So I think coming off that, which was, from their perspective, successful.
Wouldn't it have been better to stick with the JCPOA and renegotiate an extension?
No.
Well, 1,000%, David. And if you suppose.
Oh my God, they're all so stupid.
Trump had said the following, because when you are negotiating, your strongest threatening military action, not actually taking it. And suppose, Trump, back in his first term, had said, I'm not satisfied with this agreement. There were, it wasn't perfect. And, I'm sure there are people in this audience that didn't support it. But it was the best deal we could get to put a lid on the nuclear program. It didn't deal with the ballistic missiles. It didn't deal with the proxies.
That's the whole fundamental problem. So they're able to get out of those sanctions. They're able to make a ton of money, which allowed them to fund their ballistic missile program, which is what makes nukes really dangerous. And they're able to fund all their fucking proxies. So it was a shitty deal. The only thing that was gotten from it was it delayed their nuclear program. But again, at any time, if their ballistic missile technology was like really fucking good, well, then they have an opportunity to enrich uranium and very quickly make a fucking nuclear bomb.
So if
not to mention, like, again, fund the fucking terrorist proxies for as long as they want.
Trump had said, there are things about it I don't like, and I am going to walk away from it unless we open up negotiations. And I believe that we need to open up negotiations because otherwise, I might be forced to take action. That then gives you the pressure and the room to try to do something. That's not what he did. He said, Barack Obama did it, I'm out.
Buddy, does it seem as though the Iranian regime is open to negotiating?
We're withdrawing.
Like, it's insane. This is like the rationale that fucktards have when it comes to the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Why didn't you try to negotiate with the Japanese? Why didn't you just launch the bomb, like, on the ocean to scare them? It's actually a miracle that they even capitulated after the fucking bombings, because the Japanese military was still actually going to continue the war. It was just the emperor that went to the radio station to declare surrender, and he was actually the military was trying to kill him, so he couldn't even get to the radio station. They would have continued. So, like, we've already seen what happened. Their air force is completely destroyed. Their navy is completely destroyed. How many of the fucking leaders have been killed, including the Ayatollah? The Ayatollah's son, who's going to succeed him, he's a fucking vegetable, just on life support. There's dozens of IRGC generals, commanders, officials that have been fucking murdered. Strait of Hormuz is closed. They're losing about $400 to $500 million a day. They have no ability to make missile systems now, drones, really any military equipment manufacturing. Again, 13,000 fucking sites were bombed by the U.S. Their top leading nuclear scientists all fucking killed. And they still are reluctant, like, not even just reluctant, they still don't want to make a fucking deal. So, like, this idea, oh, you could have opened diplomatic channels and, like, scared them that maybe something would happen. Something has happened, and they still don't want to make a fucking deal. So, like, what is the fucking deal with Democrats just being fucking retards? Like, they're just so fucking dishonest about this whole situation.
Does the things people say about you affect you? I constantly think about shit people say. I'm very neurotic. I try to take your advice. People are apes. Fuck the world. Don't take yourself so seriously. Tads Yada.
If monkeys could talk, would you care about what any of the monkeys have to say about you? Humans are a species of ape. We are almost identical in every way to chimpanzees. The only major difference, there's only two real major societal differences. One has to do with mating. Female chimpanzees will fuck anything, and it's just the dominant males that will chase all the other subordinate males away. Whereas with human beings, it's the opposite. Women are the ones that kind of choose their mating partner. And it's the males that have to, like, prove themselves to the female. And the only other major difference is humans are able to cooperate in larger groups compared to chimpanzees, and that's more of a recent phenomena. Large societies didn't really start until, like 10,000 years ago or something. So in practically every way, we're the same as fucking chimpanzees. It's just we do what chimpanzees would do if they had human wisdom and technology. So you're just surrounded by fucking chimps. And, like, again, if you went to the zoo and the chimpanzees could talk to you and make fun of how you dressed or whatever, would you give a shit? You'd probably just say, it's a dumb fucking chimp. Well, guess what? You're surrounded by fucking dumb chimps right now. It's just that they have less hair, and not all of them fling shit at you. So stop fucking worrying about it. Just start lifting weights. I'd recommend taking steroids. Just start off with testosterone. Focus on getting fucking jacked. And focus on other things you enjoy, like hobbies, whatever the fuck it is. And stop worrying about what other fucking people think. Just make money, get jacked, fuck bitches, and haters will hate. Thanks for the donation, Ronald.
Wow, listening to Hillary Clinton makes Trimp sound like he has Down syndrome.
Well, he is stupid. He's stupid. She's a fucking liar. But yeah, thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo, donate $2. Ken Paxton, is this that guy who's suing Discord for children's safety? I'm not sure.
We got a major challenge here from Ken Paxton to James Tallarico, who says he loves barbecue even though he's a vegan. And here it is.
Let's meet at a barbecue restaurant and let's see how much you love barbecue. Let's have a real barbecue lunch.
Dude looks real ham bone. Dude looks real Fred Flintstone, like with his little napkin and his rib. Who eats ribs with a napkin, by the way? Is that normal in the state of Texas?
And we eat with our hands and we don't eat with a napkin. It's after it's all over.
So,
is Ken Paxton a vegan? I've heard people say this. Oh, wait. Is it the other guy? Oh, vegan James Tallarico, sorry. James Tallarico is not vegan, despite frequent claims by his political opponents. Candidate does not follow a plant-based diet. Accusations have become prominent. Cultural talking point in the state. Reality, Tallarico's campaign has consistently denied the vegan claims, frequently photographed documented eating meat. Origins of the rumor, the attack stem from a 2022 speech Tallarico gave to an animal welfare nonprofit where he stated his campaign would buy non-meat meals from vegan businesses that advocate for reduced meat consumption to combat climate change. So this is all just stupid shit.
So you're going to go to every county in Texas to a barbecue joint, and you're going to challenge James Tallarico to use some barbecue. That's right. Okay. you think that dude like actually? No, man, he's lying.
There's a lot of.
He ran a vegan campaign. I got the video.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's a vegan. He said he was vegan. He said he'd run a vegan. Yeah, you're right. And he did it with a mask on. That's not a real thing.
That's throwing down the actual gauntlet and the T-bone. So let's go, James Tallarico.
Yeah, so these people are retarded. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Inflation's not a danger, blah, blah, blah. Then inflation went up and people started laughing at the MMT people and listening to them less. And the MMT people, then Warren Mosler, the ultimate guru of MMT, came out and said, oh, debt's too high now. We could get inflation. He just made this pronouncement. There was no system, there was no formula, there was no transparent process by which he made that pronouncement. But then this accelerated the loss of intellectual currency that MMT had in a lot of people's eyes because they realized that whether debt is good or bad depends entirely on the pronouncements of a few gurus. But the general slant of their contributions has been to not worry about debt to GDP ratio.
That's right. They have done a lot of yelling of people to not worry about debt.
So
I would not listen to them if I were you or anyone.
I'm sure there are MMT fans who are going to think I should have pushed back here, but truth is I don't know enough to push back intelligently, and I'm worried about debt for other reasons. I mean, so at the moment, the interest on the debt.
I think a lot of Christians would disagree with you that we are apes, VG.
Well, then they're wrong. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Exceeds, I think, every government expenditure except Medicare and Social Security, and it's projected to exceed Medicare in 2028. Does that sound about right?
About right, yeah.
What are the escape routes here? I have a list of I think 5, which I might have gotten from you. I'm not quite sure where I got them. I can tick them off and then we can discuss them. But my list here is number 1, grow out of it. 2, inflate it away. 3, austerity. 4, financial repression. And 5, default or restructuring, which does not sound good at all. So how do you think we get out of this situation? What is the situation? We have close to 40 trillion in debt.
That sounds about right.
And again, interest on the debt is growing and eclipsing more or less everything, including defense now. What do you think we will do, and what do you think we should do if there's any daylight between those two things?
I don't actually know what we will do because politics is kind of unpredictable, and I'm not a specialist in predicting what we'll do. But what we should do is, number 1, we need to, once we start worrying about the debt, we need to enact fiscal austerity, and we did that in 1993. We did fiscal austerity after a few years of everybody being really worried about the debt. If you're old enough to remember the 1992 election, the candidates were competing to say who could cut the debt more.
Yeah.
And so it's not this idea that politics is this eternal goodie bag where everybody just wants infinite goodies and no one cares about debt is not necessarily right, because I've seen the opposite. I've seen people worry about debt. I've seen the whole nation worry about debt. Well, I mean, I was a little kid at the time, right? But I still remember that was sort of my first glimmer of politics. And I started, understanding that like everyone's scared about debt. So when I was, 10 years old or whatever, I thought debt was bad. Because I saw people on TV talking about it a lot. And so we can do that. And so
cutting the deficit is one thing. Actually making a meaningful cut to the debt it's got to require growth, right? I mean, we're not going to just, keep the plane flying at 30,000 feet and whittle away on this $40 trillion debt.
Yeah, so growth happens. I mean, growth isn't grinding to a halt. In fact, if anything, I'd say that growth will accelerate a little bit due to the AI boom. But that doesn't, when I say accelerate, I don't mean we're going to grow at like 20% or whatever the AI, boosters say. I think, maybe the standard forecast, maybe we'll grow it
2.5% or maybe even 3%. That would be amazing. But we will continue to grow, right? Our economy will continue to grow. There are things we can do to make it grow more. One thing is
bananas are the #1 seller at Walmart for a reason. It's probably because they're cheap.
We normally talk about growth in terms of per capita living standards, but we can also grow the total size of the economy by bringing in immigrants. And that's exactly the opposite, of course, of Trump's strategy, especially high-skilled immigrants that pay lots of taxes. So we can bring in millions of smart people from India, and we can do that. And then, but Trump doesn't want to do that. So that's a sidetrack, but we can do that. In terms of, so that's one thing we can do is to simply lower the deficit and let growth
No, don't have any debates coming up.
erode the debt over time. That's one thing that's the most important and best thing we can do is fiscal austerity, by which I mean a combination of tax increases and spending cuts, and then allowing growth to take its course over time. That will take a decade, 2 decades of that, but that will definitely fix a lot of this problem.
And we can't inflate it away because, as we've just said, the debt rolls over and we have to pay the consequences of inflation, but while paying the debt.
Well, no, we can inflate it away. And so, in fact, our debt to GDP ratio fell during Biden's presidency for exactly this reason, because inflation was higher.
Yeah.
So actually, we did inflate away a little bit of the debt, but it took, even despite all the lack of fiscal restraint, despite all the money we were spending, despite all the taxes that we cut, we did inflate away a little tiny bit of the debt. But you remember how mad people were. People suddenly got much poorer. They couldn't buy gas, they couldn't buy food, they couldn't buy, rent went up and all these things went up. People were just, it resulted in people electing Trump, who didn't help the problem, but it resulted, even though that inflation lasted mainly for about a year and a half, 2 years, it got people.
At Gamer123444K, oh please, we have enough gay shit in movies already, both figuratively and literally.
I don't know what that's about, but true. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Really mad in an enduring way, and people are still saying the cost of living is way too high. They still vividly remember that experience of inflation that we had. If you're going to meaningfully inflate the debt away, you're going to need that sort of inflation for years and years and years. And I don't think you're going to have people revolting in the street. So you can inflate it away. You can do that, but it's going to make people really, 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 really mad.
Well, what about the risk?
More mad than fiscal austerity.
What about the risk of hyperinflation under those conditions?
It's real. I mean, hyperinflation happens. There's a lot we don't know about hyperinflation, but our best guess, okay, is that hyperinflation, when you get inflation not of 8%, but of 1,000% or something, this hyperinflation, our best guess is that it happens when the central bank just starts printing money to buy however much debt the government wants to issue. So when you start issuing government essentially a blank check from money printing, that's when hyperinflation happens. I think Trump's instinct is probably to do something like that, to simply.
Paul Saladino's terrified of me, and he'll never debate me. I've challenged him to a debate on numerous occasions, and he just tries to pretend I don't exist.
Start the printing presses, have the central bank buy infinite government debt that he can then use for populist goodies, and by the time it catches up with us and we screw ourselves, he'll be dead. And this is what happened with Venezuela. Hugo Chavez started this process, and then by the time it really caught up with them and destroyed their economy, he was dead. Yeah. And so Trump is an old man. He's not going to live that long, and so I think maybe this is what he would want to do, but I think everyone else sort of understands. Like J.D. Vance would then be the American Maduro, stuck with this, rapidly expanding inflation from monetary financing of the debt, and I don't think he wants that.
Is this the kind of thing that can happen to some degree surreptitiously, or is there full transparency with respect to money printing in all its forms?
Well, so the first thing that they do is to cut interest rates. So you can see that happening, right? So when the Fed prints money, quote unquote, it uses it first and foremost to buy bonds, and you can see that happening. And you can see interest rates go down from Fed action. So you can see quantitative easing. Quantitative easing. Yeah. Qualitative easing actually does exist, but it's another thing. So quantitative easing, QE, you see the Fed printing money to buy longer-term bonds. Usually when the Fed prints money, it just buys short-term bonds like T-bills, or whatever. But then it can and sometimes does print money to buy longer-term bonds to push down those longer-term interest rates. And if it does that, if it does QE, we'll basically know that that's a really good sign that this is happening.
So the word austerity is certainly not a pleasant word in this context, and yet I'm not sure people have intuitions about what it means in its totality. What are we talking about when we talk about austerity as being one of the levers we can get in hand here?
Right. So austerity got a bad name years ago in the Great Recession, when people were like, we need to spend to stop this to get out of this recession. They were probably right about that, assuming we could have done fiscal restraint and austerity during the boom that came after the Great Recession. After the Great Recession, we had a long boom, and we could have fixed the government's finances during that long boom the way we did in the 90s. Instead, we did not, because interest rates were low, and so we just rolled over the debt, and we never removed the debt that we built up to fight the Great Recession.
Well, was there a huge mistake there? I remember some people advocating for when interest rates were at their lowest, you're kind of repricing U.S. debt. Did we miss an opportunity there to lock in super long-term loans to the government?
Yes, we did. The average maturity of U.S. debt is something like 4.3 years. That's way too short. We should have locked in 20-year debt.
Right.
At super low interest rates. We would have given ourselves a lot more runway politically to solve this problem.
Well, why didn't that happen? If that was so obvious, what was the impediment there?
I don't actually know. It could have been some worries about spooking financial markets, because if you do that, maybe financial markets will take it as a signal that you intend to do, borrow more and not stop. So maybe the short maturity that we kept it at was some sort of credibility signal, but I'm just hand waving here. I don't actually know. Your guess is kind of as good as mine here. We did miss an opportunity.
Okay, so I interrupted you about austerity.
Oh yeah, austerity. So austerity just means cut spending, raise taxes. And there's lots of ways we can do both. We can reverse all the Trump tax cuts. We can tax,
a higher corporate tax probably isn't going to hurt us. We can do higher capital gains tax. And we need to raise taxes not just on the rich, but on the upper middle class. Like people making, $150,000 a year need to be paying more taxes, not just the people making $1 billion. Obviously, we should raise taxes on people making billions of dollars. And I'm in favor of raising taxes in a progressive manner where billionaires get their taxes raised more than regular people, but regular people need their taxes raised too. Regular people need to pay more taxes because that's how they do it in Europe. We could have a VAT. We could have higher income taxes.
Europe is not doing so great. So I don't know about that.
Things like that. We need to do it. In addition to...
You definitely do not want a tax policy like in the UK. Literally everything they do is wrong. There are people who literally refuse to take promotions in the UK because they know it'll put them in a higher tax bracket and they'll make less money. It's just crazy.
Corporate tax and capital gains taxes and higher taxes on the very rich people. We need to raise taxes across the board. The American people have to all be in this all together. We can't, we shouldn't raise taxes on the poor because A, they're poor, and B, they don't have any, it's not going to raise much money. But on the middle class, we need to raise taxes on the middle class. And that's, Democrats are pledging not to do it. Republicans are, of course, never going to do it. We need to raise taxes on the middle class. In addition, I want to raise taxes on the billionaires more, but we need to raise taxes on the middle class too. We need to all pay higher taxes. We need to all be in this together. So that's the tax side of it. We can't just do it with taxes. We need to have spending cuts. And we need to restrain the growth of spending. We need to, actually, cutting spending is actually less powerful than simply restraining growth rates. If you simply say this now, instead of growing at 4% a year, we'll grow at 1% a year, that adds up to a huge amount. So all kinds of things, especially health spending. We need to have the government buy people less health care. And I'm sorry, phones have done three things to break.
Have people buy less health care? What?
But we need to raise taxes on the middle class too. We need to all pay higher taxes. We need to all be in this together. So that's the tax side of it. We can't just do it with taxes. We need to have spending cuts. We need to restrain the growth of spending. We need to, actually, cutting spending is actually less powerful than simply restraining growth rates. If you simply say this now, instead of growing at 4% a year, we'll grow at 1% a year, that adds up to a huge amount. So all kinds of things, especially health spending. We need to have the government buy people less health care. And I'm sorry.
Oh, have the government spend less on healthcare. There's no way you could do that. That would be the most that'd be one of the most politically unpopular things imaginable. No fucking chance. I don't see that happening. Oh, okay.
The Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions will please come to order. Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, for appearing before the committee.
President Trump's nomination of Stanford epidemiologist Jay Bhattacharya to head the National Institutes of Health was polarizing, with vocal critics and defenders.
Doctor, your nomination is one of the most exciting picks of the entire Trump administration. You showed incredible courage in speaking the truth about COVID-19 when much of the rest of the world stayed silent about it.
Dr. Bhattacharya was controversial due to his criticism of the government's COVID policies.
You were demonized for co-authoring the Great Barrington Declaration in October 20. Dr. Fauci called it total nonsense. Rochelle Walensky called it wrong and unsafe. I want to start by asking you about COVID. How would you have done it differently in a nutshell?
Well, I still would have opposed the lockdowns, but if I'm confirmed as an NIH director, the kind of thing I would have done is I would have allowed there to be scientific debate and discussion.
Instead of a debate, scientists, the government, and the media justified the lockdowns and censored alternative approaches. Yet, a small group of skeptics, Dr. Bhattacharya among them, opposed lockdowns and suffered the consequences. This is their story.
Jay, how do you think it went?
I had a good time. It was way more fun than I thought it would be.
I don't think it's supposed to be fun.
I don't think so either.
And do you feel it's a vindication to kind of be appointed to this job in a way, Jay?
I don't know about vindication, but there's this arc where the previous NIH director tried to destroy me. If you're writing a novel, this would be a hokey ending. It's like, now I'm going to be the NIH director.
That might be the ending. But how did the lockdowns begin? The term lockdown derives from prison inmate control, popularized by Hollywood movies.
Nobody escapes. Nobody ever really escapes.
The COVID lockdown began in Wuhan, China.
It was December of 2019. I got a phone call from my CDC office in Beijing, where they had informed me that there was a new respiratory disease that was occurring. They had 27 cases of an unspecified pneumonia that wasn't flu and it wasn't SARS.
Chinese authorities responded with a total lockdown of the city.
I mean, they literally were arresting people from their houses, if you remember.
So basically he would have just let everyone die of COVID-19. Then wonderful, not.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have been a great idea. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
They opened quarantine centers. They built new hospitals practically overnight for 25,000 people.
Around China, residents post scenes claiming officials are welding the doors of apartment buildings shut.
The experience of that was absolutely unique. I can't think of an analogy of any.
Ben Boyd only tell us, have you seen the movie Obsession yet? And if not, do you plan to watch it? Haven't seen it yet, but I'll probably watch it. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
Large region like that locking down for such an extended period of time.
Fuck.
I mean, I looked at it from the outside, that just absolutely shocked that such a thing was possible. The Chinese experience of the lockdowns in January 2020 had a transformative effect on global public health. That experience in January 2020 in China misled the public health officials everywhere into thinking that the lockdowns were a way to make the disease go away, to eradicate the disease.
Italy's health system is overrun.
The pandemic spread out of China, first to Italy, then elsewhere, including the U.S.
The first confirmed U.S. case of the contagious coronavirus now in Washington state.
I'm Alex Azar, Secretary of Health and Human Services.
To manage the U.S. response, President Trump created a coronavirus task force.
We closed up our borders to flights coming in from certain areas.
I remember at the White House press conference, the president talked, the vice president talked, and then Birx talked, then I talked, and then Fauci talked.
My name is Dr. Tony Fauci. I'm the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at NIH.
When Fauci talked, he started his talk by telling the American public he's the lead public health person in the United States. And I had just spoken, and I was a CDC director, and I went to him afterwards and said, Tony, well, I mean, what's that all about? I mean, you run a lab at NIH, you know, but he clearly felt upon him that he had to take that position.
This guidance for the next 15 days is what our experts say.
The president left the pandemic response up to the states, but the task force strongly recommended lockdowns.
Bars, restaurants, food courts, gyms, and other indoor and outdoor venues where groups of people congregate should be closed.
Stay in your homes, social distancing of 6 feet.
Because if it looks like you're overreacting, you're probably doing the right thing.
Everyone was to stay at home, wear masks, maintain 6 feet of social distancing. And schools and businesses were shuttered.
Decisions with a massive impact for working parents and for all the children now spending the school day at home.
Basically, within the span of around a week or so, every school district in the United States of America closed.
We've never had lockdowns at the scale that happened in 2020 globally. That was absolutely unique in world history as far as I know.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I can have the first slide, please.
Advocates for continuing the lockdowns cited mathematical models, especially one from Imperial College London.
In their estimates, they had between 1.5 million and 2.2 million people in the United States succumbing to this virus.
Models were alarming. These mathematical models suggested that there were going to be millions of people dead within a short couple of months if the world didn't lock down. And so I figured what I would do is I would spend my time in essentially running studies to check how many people had already had COVID and recovered.
Do you think it's likely that there are large numbers of Americans who've been infected, recovered, and didn't know it?
Yes, I believe that is true. Very soon we're going to have, I think, a much more accurate understanding of how widespread this is.
Jay Bhattacharya and others studied the population of Santa Clara, California, by taking blood samples and looking for antibodies that would indicate the presence of COVID-19. This would be data from actual people, not just models.
The Santa Clara study was the first of the results to come out. And it showed that about 3% of the population had already had COVID and recovered in Santa Clara County. 40% of them never had any symptoms that they remembered in the months before. The death rate then was something like 0.2%, and that there was a very steep age gradient where it really was older people that had the highest risk of death, so as high as 3, 4, 5, 6% from each infection, whereas children, there were no deaths or almost no deaths. Dozens of very similar studies came out in location after location after location all around the world.
The really huge issue with COVID was morbidity. It attacks every organ system in your body. So there's some really bizarre side effects that COVID has. Young men in particular are susceptible to this. They're at very high risk of erectile dysfunction, and it seems to be permanent. It could be as high as 15% of young men infected with COVID having permanent erectile dysfunction. It also attacks your brain. There's a lot of people who had permanent IQ reduction from it, so not great.
And we were spot on in the middle of all those studies.
The study in Santa Clara showed that this virus was far more widespread than people understood, which showed two important conclusions to be made. One was that it's already widespread.
COVID is airborne. It kills you through respiratory illness, but it attacks every organ system in the body.
You don't lock down after something's widespread, even if a lockdown would work, but that's one of the reasons why lockdowns don't work, is because it's already widespread. Secondly, the infection fatality rate was much lower.
The Santa Clara study was the first empirical evidence that lockdowns were the wrong strategy. Not that the epidemic wasn't deadly, but that lockdowns, school closures, social distancing, and the rest wouldn't work. Europe took note, at least in terms of school closures.
At the end of April and the beginning of May, 22 countries in Europe began reopening their schools. And the education ministers from these different countries met at the EU, and they said, we've observed no obvious negative consequences of opening schools. They met a second time in June, and they had the same determination. I thought this would be on the front pages of every newspaper. This would be on every cable news network. This was the news we were waiting for. We were told that we couldn't follow what Europe did if they mentioned Europe at all. When it was mentioned, it was dismissed.
In spite of the new evidence from Santa Clara and from Europe, the task force continued to support lockdowns throughout the U.S.
It is extraordinarily widespread.
The schools stayed closed.
We know that children under 18 are less sick, but there are some that suffer terrible consequences.
The real risk with leaving schools open is transferability. So if one parent is sick with COVID, that kid will get COVID, spread it throughout the school, and those kids will be fine, but their parents won't be. So when they spread it to their parents, they're more likely to get sick.
So many people are dying in New York City due to coronavirus complications.
Pandemic deaths continued, causing fear and panic.
Crews are burying unclaimed bodies that have been at the morgue for more than 2 weeks.
We're going to be seeing that there are going to be deaths that are going to continue to go up.
Fauci and the task force stoked that fear.
I mean, you can see that there's several hundreds per day in New York.
And the media spread it.
The U.S. passed another grim, tragic milestone. More than 1 million in the nation have been confirmed infected with coronavirus.
During the pandemic, over and over again, in these large features in the New York Times and other prestigious media outlets, there was zero questioning of what they were being told by health authorities, someone like Anthony Fauci, or by people who fashion themselves public health pundits, who were often interviewed in these outlets.
Throughout the COVID pandemic, you would read the media and it would just be, it was like reading the state media in a totalitarian society. It was just parroting the party line.
This new COVID surge is awful. So follow the Fauci.
Which was why I felt what we did at the Journal at the editorial page was so important, because we gave voice to sensible dissenting views.
Lockdown hysteria created...
No, I won't give my thoughts on Carmelo Anthony because I've literally answered every fucking question about it, every fucking stream, and it's obvious. Like, do you think I'm a retard? Why the fuck do you think I'd have some kind of dissenting opinion? He was a murderer. Like, fuck off. It's so retarded.
Created odd, even absurd features of daily life.
The CHEO high band in Cameron isn't allowing COVID-19 to stop them from playing together.
Just the idea that you can walk into a restaurant wearing a mask and you can sit down and eat with the mask off and the virus isn't going to get you, it's just absurd.
Don't forget to keep your mask on in between bites.
We closed skate parks, beaches that were closed.
A paddleboarder is chased down by law enforcement for being out on the water at Malibu Beach.
He was alone in the ocean. How many lives are saved by that?
Not everyone fell in line. A few anti-lockdown protests popped up throughout the country.
A friend of mine actually organized a protest of a hymn sing in Idaho. He got arrested for the act of singing as an act of protest. At the same time, there were, in that summer, huge protests related to the death of George Floyd. Public health responded to this by condemning the anti-lockdown protest. But 1,000 or more public health leaders signed a petition saying that the George Floyd protests were appropriate.
According to the statement, systemic racism is an even bigger public health problem than COVID. It's all ideological. It has no bearing on science or reality.
President Trump was becoming dissatisfied with the advice from the task force, so he turned to lockdown skeptic Scott Atlas.
Jared Kushner, who was a senior advisor to President Trump at the time, said to me, well, we'd like you to be an advisor to the president. And I said, well, I'm happy to do that. And then he said, but I'm worried that when it becomes public, they're going to destroy you. The media will destroy you. So that didn't sound so good to me. I'm not a political person, but I'm going to say the truth no matter what. And so on July 31st, I flew back to Washington with an uncertain term of engagement in the beginning.
Those advocating for a never-ending blanket nationwide lockdown have no answer for what it would do to the mental, physical, and social health of millions of American children and people.
So I was helping give him the facts for his press conferences. And he said to me, by the way, you want to go out there with me? So I said, okay. And so I went out. It was that sort of sudden.
I'd like to ask Scott to come up, please, and say a few words. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously a great honor to be here and a great honor to serve this president who's really focused on the very important parts of the pandemic.
There was this deference, though, to Dr. Fauci, which I noticed. Dr. Fauci was not in charge of anything on the task force. Dr. Birx was in charge of the medical side.
He was my mentor, so I'm going to have to let him speak.
Okay, whatever. Fucking cares. Oh, $12 for early access. Free to play Chinese bullshit. Final Fantasy VII sucks. Anybody who disagrees is retarded. I played the remake on PlayStation, and oh my god. That was one of the shittiest, boringest fucking games I have ever experienced in my life. Just so monumentally garbage. Nobody has any fucking taste anymore. That was just so bad. So horrifically bad. Overwatch is fucking... My god. The Invincible versus game looks like shit. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm gonna go take a piss, and then we'll play some games. I'll be right back. I'll be back in a minute. No, it won't be Battletoads tonight, but tomorrow that could be a different story. Tomorrow I've actually got a flux core welder coming in. I'm going to fix the exhaust on my Ural and get that running again. Alrighty. God damn it. I ordered the Yes welder off Amazon. Apparently it's pretty good. Especially if you're just doing lighter jobs. Like, I just have to weld an exhaust. I can't remember what thickness it can go up to, but you can do actually a lot with it with just a 120 volt. So I might be able to fabricate some stuff here and there too, if I feel like it. It also does TIG and stick welding. Stick seems really hard. I might practice stick welding just, just for fuck's sakes. Don't think I'm gonna bother with MIG welding just because I'd have to get gas for it, and I don't know how hard that is to get. You can't just get a gas tank from like Canadian Tire or anything. I'd like to learn TIG, but yeah, just getting the gas for it is a pain in the ass. But yeah, I might just practice welding just in general, just fuck around with horse shit. Well, my exhaust has some rust on it, but like I'm obviously going to clean the surface. Like I'm not retarded. So I'm going to get some sandpaper and shit tomorrow. I also have to get some anti-splatter spray. Oh, what the... There's another update? Wait, what? That was weird. I'm gonna practice on some test pieces too. Before I fuck with the actual exhaust pipe. Yeah, I thought they made this James Bond look too young and immature. This is one of the worst graphics menus I've ever seen. I don't want to... I was never at 500k subs. I was never at 500k subs.
Been offline 64 minutes and counting. We need visuals and a status. That's one expensive wake-up call. Must be more to it than that. Let's see. Norwegian weather satellite picked up an unusual heat signature a couple of clicks off coast 2 hours ago. That's all I've got. What sort of retrieval are we talking about? That's classified. Can't sound like little housing.
The thing that I'm subscribed to with the telehealth thing, they can't prescribe medication. Still a little loud. I'll turn the music volume down a bit. Probably master volume down a bit. Oh my god, dude. Like, it just keeps getting louder. What the fuck?
Did you actually do some car phrases for once, chicken legs? Or were you just prepping this boring ass stream where we watch you suck ass at video games? Also, the Mo the Trump admin is working out with Iran looks really bad.
That's nice. Thanks for the donation, dude. It's really weird to me how a lot of games, they don't let you go prone.
It was an ambush. Both choppers down. Hostiles are organized and heavily armed.
This is MI6. We're taking control of this mission, effective immediately. Are you injured?
I'll live.
Good, because we need your help. What's your name, soldier?
Bond.
Oh, you're not SAS.
They're crewmen.
In training. We'll have to make do. I need you to be our eyes and ears on site. Do you see a camp?
No, but there's some light coming from the other side of the mountain.
That's it. Get there.
It's 007 First Light.
Richard has chicken legs. 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 Richard has Richard has chicken legs. Richard has chicken legs. Richard has chicken legs. Chicken legs.
That's nice. Thanks for that donation, Vegan Daddy.
Gotta be a way over there. I'll check it out.
Are you sure you're up for this? Adrenaline can mask even significant damage.
Better keep those levels up then.
What is it?
Just taking in the view.
Tell me what you see.
It looks like the hostiles are heading back to the camp.
Tell me about them.
They're an international group, speaking English but with accents, capable and well organized. Ex-military. Firearms are unfamiliar, I guess. Special issue.
That's good. But keep your eyes peeled.
Tell me, why is MI6 getting involved here?
The retrieval camp has been compromised. How and by whom is what I need your help figuring out.
Yeah, but why MI6?
That's classified.
Okay. Well, who's running the retrieval mission then?
Also classified.
How can I help if I don't know what's going on?
By doing exactly...
I'm gonna have to probably fuck around with stupid bullshit.
what I tell you.
Yes, Mom.
Oh my god.
Have you located the camp?
Not yet. I hope I'll see it when I clear the top. Retrieval mission? Of what exactly? Alien technology?
Not quite.
What then?
How long were you in the water for?
You're dodging the question.
And you're hypothermic. Get to the camp and find some warm clothes. I need you operational.
You and me both. Fingers are the first to go.
What?
In the cold. First they hurt, then nothing.
Right.
I see some perimeter markers.
Good. You're close to the camp.
Fingers and toes. Water certainly doesn't help.
You're in water again.
Better than getting spotted.
They rigged the entire camp and perimeter.
Enough to level this place.
This isn't a Ubisoft game.
Yeah. Huh. This one's armed.
They are all armed.
Thank you, MI6.
Saves us the trouble.
MI6 explosives. You're the ones running the retrieval mission.
Not officially.
And you set up a grid of high explosives covering the whole area.
It's a post-mission cleanup measure. Thermochemical sterilization. I didn't want you to get worried.
Chemical sterilization. What's to worry about?
Thermo. And it's quite safe. What's not, however, is you still out in the cold.
Yes, I know.
I don't see myself playing any Ubisoft games in the future. They're not really making anything worth playing.
There's a window here I could get through. That'll do.
Good news?
Parker.
Stigo się. Gdzie si bio do sada?
Otóżcie się. Zbliżam się sekund.
You speak Serbian?
Montenegrin. Picked up a few phrases while mountain climbing there.
A man of hidden talents. Now, let's figure out who these hostiles are.
Already on it. I found a receipt in the jacket. Berlin Cafe, November 17th. Paid in cash.
Interesting. Keep it coming.
A briefcase. It's full of ashes.
One of ours. Self-ignites if open wrong.
Someone's lying here. He's been shot.
Vitals?
He's dead. Foster. One of yours?
Senior engineer. Keep going.
I found one of their guns.
What kind?
It's a TXK biome. Serial's gone.
Discontinued. Also, it's biometrically locked.
Brilliant.
There's no such thing as biometrically locked guns. It's fucking stupid. I don't think there's anything else in here.
Heading into the camp now.
Don't draw attention to yourself.
Comm device. Military-grade layered encryption.
Hard to come by.
Rocket launcher. Serial 394KLB211.
The launcher is part of a US shipment stolen in Algiers 9 years ago.
That was fast.
Keep digging. We're not done.
There's only so much we can bring on the side.
Torn grid map here.
That's just a site explosives protocol from the MI6 handbook.
Patch. Red and white checkers.
In this context, could reference Croatia.
Yeah, I've seen Judge Dredd.
Lighter inscription. S. Popovich.
Good. Too common a name. Keep looking.
Shit! Hey! What you doing? I barely crushed that thing, and it started moving. Hey! You! Back this up for me. Your boat's right there. Damn thing. Where's Jovan when you need him?
Wasn't up for it this time. Those 9 mil lost on the German job. And that cleanup?
That was messy.
Hey! You've got to see this! Come on, let's check it out.
You've got this, right? Good man.
And some of them just mentioned a messy German job. 9 million lost.
Hang on. I know exactly who we're up against. A Balkan gang of thieves known as Arrowhead. Notorious for never leaving any witnesses. Listen, I'm going to ask you to enter the big Central 10. But what you learn in there can never be mentioned to anyone. Understood?
Heading there now.
I'm serious, Bond. You haven't signed the Official Secrets Act. I need to hear you say that you accept and acknowledge its ramifications.
I accept and acknowledge. Entering now. Any bombs I should know of?
None you should know of. No.
So? Lay it on me.
I can't. You're still on a need-to-know basis.
Figures.
Mission Protocol Grey Envelope forbids any overt mention at this encryption level. Or not discuss any specifics. Now, do you see the object?
I'm afraid that's classified.
Touché.
What's that noise?
What?
Distortion. Oscillating. Oh. Now it's gone. I'm looking at the thing now. Or what's left of it.
I need you to look for the OBC unit inside.
OBC. And that is?
Right. Onboard computer. The size of a shoebox. Probably suspended in some shock-absorbent webbing.
It's gone.
Down. Have a look around the tent for it.
On it. Whoa.
What is it?
I don't feel well.
Just keep looking.
Are you sure it's completely sealed? It's sealed. Come on.
Someone's coming. They're wearing hazmat suits. Should I worry?
Give me a sec.
We got what we came for. Let's get the hell out of here. We get on the Zap and in 3 weeks, strike gold in Brazil. Works for me. The others are preparing the final cleanup now. Ever been to Brazil? First time. What's it like? Beaches are...
Bob, did you mention sound distortion before?
Yeah.
I need you to do exactly as I say. Do you see the red door? Head for it. Right now.
What?
You need an antidote. You've been exposed to a nerve agent.
What's this?
Decontamination.
What exactly am I looking for?
A green box with a bright orange stripe. Probably tucked away somewhere.
What the hell is all this stuff? Come on. Come on. Which one?
What?
There's 2 of them.
The orange one. Do not use the other one.
Here goes nothing. God,
Bond? You okay?
that might be pushing it. What next?
Have a little rest and then get to somewhere safe. You've done great. We'll have an extraction team pick you up in about an hour.
They still have that thing you're after and they're about to leave.
Yes, and we'll let them. Thanks to you, we've been able to deduce exactly who the buyer is, where they'll be meeting, and at what time. We'll intercept in a controlled environment with no risk to the asset. You just get out of the camp, sit tight.
One of your crew's still alive. Hostiles have him. I don't fancy his chances. I'll follow, see what I can do.
You're in no state. They'll spot you and kill you. Remember who you're up against.
Wrap it up.
Now you start to worry about me.
Wait, you can't jump over that? Where am I going? Oh.
I'm taking this one to the others. G9 or B4? Doesn't matter. They're all inside the blaster. What's the point then? They're all going to die anyway.
Christ. They just shot him.
No witnesses.
I think some of the others are still alive, but the hostiles plan to blow up the place.
You need to get out of the blast zone.
Oh, I need to save those people.
That is not your call. Stand down. That's an order. Listen carefully. You have less than 1% chance of success. Now stand down.
I'll take those odds.
Bond.
Okay, James. 2 containers. B4 or G9. Which one's first?
How much longer have we got?
You got somewhere to be?
Yeah.
How about we turn it up a bit more?
Doesn't look like it. Better
I'll
check.
leave you to roast your chestnuts. I have to be somewhere else. Should be able to use that crevasse to avoid being spotted. Okay, no time to hesitate. Those people need my help. Container G9. That's where I'll find the captives.
Fuck.
I wish we had some
Heavy
of this
duty.
gear and capability.
Just what I need. Do your best.
What are you doing? I'm not doing anything! Just stop it! How? I don't know how to drive this thing! Shit! Help me get our stuff out of the way!
Good girl. This should keep them busy.
Sick of this. Cold, wet, dark. That wind.
Look at this. The guy was riding home to his wife.
Where the fuck?
Tell Thomas and Martha that he loves them very much. And we'll see them soon.
I'm very...
Looks like Daddy has a few more bedtime stories. That's cold. We could write them back and tell them Daddy begged like a dog. No, that's not a bad idea.
Can I take them down? What?
Remind me why I'm the one.
There we go.
Just passing through.
Listen, we don't have much time, and we need to get you out of here. What's the plan?
Can't we just sit tight and wait for the others to deal with the hostiles?
I'm all you've got.
Just one guy.
We're so screwed. Get a grip, Irv.
What about the others? We can't leave without them.
Others?
In B4, other side of the camp. They split us into 2 groups. They were really rough. I hope they're okay.
Okay. You need to stay put while I free them. Then run east on my signal.
What kind of signal?
You'll know when you see it.
Godspeed.
No backing out now, James. Need to find those captives. All right, Container B4. Where are you?
And what was the point? Nothing.
Thank God you're finally here. Listen, I already freed your friends. We don't have much time. The hostiles are planning to blow up the camp.
Oh God. Oh God, oh God.
They can't. That idiot was in charge of the detonator.
Still, these guys mean business. We need to go. Wait for my signal, then run east.
What's the signal?
Any ideas?
If you topple the central mast, we'll all hear it. It's barely standing in this storm. Snap one of the wires, and I bet that'll be enough. Here, the detonator. You better take it.
When it goes, you run east.
Towards the sunrise. Got it. Good luck.
All right. Time to bring the house down.
Come on! Come on!
That should start things up a bit. There's your signal.
Hey, come on! Come on! What are you doing? Come on! Run!
Yeah, that APC would annihilate them.
Over there! There's another way! Go! Keep moving!
GG, you're all dead.
Watch out! Shit! Take cover!
That would not provide adequate cover.
Come on!
That would not damage an APC.
Everybody okay? Follow me this way. There's a
That
way out.
is insanely stupid. Whoever made this game does not understand physics.
Come on!
Why would that ATV have even blown up? It just hit the armored carrier.
Stop! I've got the detonator! Hold your fire!
What is this now? You wanna blow us up?
Yeah, thinking about it.
And destroy the asset? MI6 would never.
I'm not MI6.
Congratulations, you banned.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
You sound familiar.
Today's not about me. It's about you and the incident last month. Come on. Your visitor's pass, Mr. Bond.
Thanks.
Gotta say, you're healing fast.
Then it was you.
Anyhow, we're going upstairs. All the way to the big brass. It's quite the stir you made.
Go big or go home?
Yeah, or go big and disappear.
So I'm in trouble.
Did I say that? I wouldn't have. That's confidential.
Is this about me hanging up on you in Iceland?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, if that's how you want it. Pleased to meet you, I'm James. And you are?
Infuriatingly secretive.
Moneypenny, can I grab you for a second?
I'll be right down.
So, your name is Moneypenny. Does that come with a first name too?
Now let's not get carried away, James.
Or at least tell me who I'm meeting.
You're here to see M.
M. Right. You're really enjoying this, aren't you?
And you're not?
Not particularly, no.
Miss Ponsonby, James Bond here to see M.
Thank you, Moneypenny. Take a seat. M will be ready shortly.
I didn't get a meeting agenda with the invite. Wonder if you know why I've been called here.
Everything you need to know will be explained to you shortly.
I must say, you're all taking this code of secrecy very seriously.
You do know what SIS stands for, don't you?
This M character, is he in prosecution somehow?
She and no.
Moneypenny mentioned M being high rank.
Yes, as high as you get in this house.
Right.
I do enjoy a quiet office. Perhaps we can limit the small talk.
I don't know if
sure
this
M will
game
be with
has
you
ray
shortly.
tracing. I looked through the whole
Yes.
graphics menu.
Of course.
Doesn't have ray tracing specifically.
Right away. M will see you now.
Take a seat. So, Iceland. Air crewman in training, accidentally stumbling upon an MI6 operation of the utmost importance. Initially willing to assist, but then you hang up on us. Go against direct orders, and ultimately blow up the invaluable asset we were there to retrieve.
I wasn't aware I was under MI6 command, and I just chose not to take your advice. Mom.
Right, yes. Headstrong, kicked out of several conflicts, thrill-seeking, several disciplinary... here. Issues with authority.
I believe it's more a case of authority having issues with me. Look, I know where this is going. You can spare me the velvet gloves. Do you mind telling me why I'm here?
I would like you to join His Majesty's Secret Service. I want to make you a spy.
You what?
I want you to join my training program. Though, I have to warn you, it's unlikely you'll pass the tests. Should you make it, I have to inform you that agents have a very short life expectancy. Normal social life is near impossible. And if you do get caught, we will deny ever having heard of you. How does that sound?
What's the downside?
Money's terrible.
When do I start?
Now, Moneypenny's waiting for you outside.
She'll run through the details. Yeah, put him through. You're dismissed. Yeah.
Miss Ponsonby? Curious to know what happened in there.
Not in the slightest.
You're joining?
Did you watch the White House card? I didn't because the card absolutely sucked on paper. But now I regret it because apparently the card was absolutely incredible. What did you think overall and of Justin's performance in the main event?
Yeah, that was maybe the best UFC card yet. And, what do you think? Everyone saw the fight. It was great. Thanks for the donation, Tool.
I am.
Makes the walk down a lot less awkward.
She has a nice butt.
You're in the program too.
Just got assigned. I'll be the girl in the chair. Quite excited about it. I've been reading up on the Double O's, and I think the program deserves a reboot.
Oh, so it's a new thing then?
Well, the other recruits have been at it for 6 months. So you have some catching up to do. Better get you up to speed. As I said, basic training and initial elimination rounds are already concluded. Only 6 recruits qualified for advanced training, and so far, all of them have excelled. Final exams are in 6 months, and you'll have to ace all of them to qualify for field duty. That's assuming that Greenway lets you stay on for that long.
Greenway?
Training instructor. Missions above people and orders above principle sort of guy. Judging from your profile, I'm sure you'll get along splendidly. Anyway, I'm sending you to the MI6 training facility in Malta, where you'll be joining the other recruits. Your flight's waiting for you, so you better get a move on. Break a leg, James.
John Greenway.
Yes. And you're late.
That's the training facility. Scenic.
You're not here for sightseeing. In fact, shouldn't be here at all. The sooner you realize that, the better for both of us.
No sightseeing. Got it. About me being here, you'll have to take that up with them.
Already tried. She insists we give you a chance.
And I'll take it.
Yes, until you get bored or the work's too hard. I read your file. To do this, you need skill, discipline, and above all, dedication. Pure dumb luck will only get you so far.
Glad we got that covered, sir. I like what you've done with the place. Adaptive reuse without compromising the historical heritage. Bit of a splurge on the defense budgets.
We live up to or surpass all requirements for an intelligence service.
Guess that's why I'm here. SAS is here too.
You really have a knack for stating the obvious.
I'm just surprised. I didn't know they trained in Malta.
I expect the list of things you don't know is quite extensive. Come on, this way. Everyone! Meet our new star air crewman Bond. So capable he could skip basic training. He'll now demonstrate his superior close combat skills. Monroe, will you do the honors?
Love to, sir. Okay. Show me what you got. Wonder why he's allowed to join now.
Nice one, Monroe.
Wake up, Mr. Air Crewman. Elimination round's done already.
Okay.
You got this, Monroe.
Not letting you use all the buttons for combat.
So, perhaps some basic training might still be needed. Cressida, Monroe is top of the class. I task you with bringing him up to speed.
But sir...
He gets 2 weeks to pass basics.
We still have to study for social engineering.
Well, consider it a challenge, Cressida. You like those. You know what? I'll up this 1 notch. If he fails, I take 2 credits from both of you.
Can't be so. You know... I do love a challenge.
Respectfully, sir. I think we'd be wasting our time.
So yesterday was fun. Listen, I don't know who the hell is playing favors for you. Obviously someone up high, but you won't get any from me. Better candidates were cut, and as far as I'm concerned, you should only be here if you've earned it.
Well, you and Greenway both.
What the? Cressida.
Boys,
Cressida's our top driver. She'll take you through the drill.
learn from the best, as they say.
And you better learn fast.
Wrong.
Care to explain the car?
06 TBS.
It's on the wrong side.
Seen some real-life action too back in her day. Still a gorgeous drive.
I bet.
Go on then, get in. Do a lap around the island and get a feel for her.
Ah, yes,
Fast
one of
as
the
you
most
please.
unreliable
No
cars
speed
ever
limits
made.
here.
Let's do this.
I'll come along, show you the course and give you a few pointers.
I'm doing good. Fucking tired right now, but I'm doing
crash.
Go, go, go! If you want to prove Monroe wrong, you need to up your game. Slow down for the corners. Not half bad.
Dancing through.
Use the handbrake for sharp turns.
Like a greased whippet, that.
Nice traction there.
Pretty solid for a first run.
Not too shabby. Next time, let's see you go fast, please. Go! Get to the flag as fast as you can.
2 weeks. Tick-tock, Edward. Come on, Bond.
Do you want to get a move on? Well, that didn't take too long.
Hit 3 targets. Prove you belong here.
Yeah. Oh my god, the aiming. Maybe I should have done this with a mouse and keyboard.
Don't let it punch you. Christ. Now, add an attack to that. You need to step up, Bond. Give me 100. 1, 2, 3.
Course requirement is 30 seconds or less. Get to the flag. You know the drill.
For the love of God, isn't that enough misery for one night?
Well done.
Charge him, come on. Top that. Hit 3 targets. About time. Something like that.
Aiming's bad.
What a great set of wheels.
To beat my best, you need to be confident, bold, and take chances. Ooh, that's a nice curve.
Dancing through.
That's better. Now step on it.
Like a greased whippet, that. $98. $99. $99.
Go. Then hit the targets along the way.
Yeah.
Perfect shot.
I'm out of ammo. Hold on. You two, get in the ring.
Okay, let's do this.
Really, Monroe? Give it everything you've got.
Everything he's got isn't close to enough.
Watch your movement. Move surrounded.
Oh my god, why?
I'm here.
Deal with it, brother.
This guy's gone. Out of the damn way.
Shooting is so
He
bad.
shot.
Do you want the SAS to catch you? Get moving.
Thanks for the practice.
Where?
Bond, you didn't.
Didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be rude.
Okay. Air crew, you're up. If you're serious about earning your place, let's go.
Monroe, any dating horror stories you care to share? You look like a man who's had a few.
You think this is a joke?
Monroe.
Take it easy, mate.
Ugh. Oh my god.
Well, I thought you knew. I don't have to earn this. I can just get by on blind luck, right?
Who needs luck when you've got the old boy network on your side?
Christ, Bond.
What do you say, mate? Call it a day?
Okay. No more kickers. Yeah. Pub rules it is.
Keep forgetting the controls are different compared to Batman.
What did Bond do this time? Someone stop them. Greenway will go mad.
a clue. You might actually be dangerous. How did you even get here?
Mummy and Daddy pull some strings.
Thank you for that 9014. Excellent stream as always. Appreciate the donation. That looked weird.
Just can't help yourself, can you? I, for one, won't be sorry when you're gone.
Sir, this is on me.
I decided to take the sparring outside of the ring. Things might have gotten slightly out of hand.
Don't take the blame for him, Monroe.
Honestly, sir, he's cleared his close combat requirements. I just really wanted to test him. See what he's got. If that was out of line, I apologize.
I expected better from you. And Monroe, if you want this mess, clean it up. Alone.
You passed basic training, congratulations. However, there is also the matter of your performance review. Bond is immature and reckless, guided by his gut feelings and mistaken ideas of loyalty. He's a bad influence on the other recruits who inexplicably fall victim to his charm. Greenway recommends that I cut you from the program.
Yeah, this game does have a very long tutorial section.
It's been a pleasure, Mom.
I want to show you something. Come.
Neat trick.
Yes. I'd rather enjoy it myself.
Man.
What's down there?
You'll see, but first, let me give you some context. I've been heading MI6 for
tired.
14 months now. Tell me, how many terror attacks have we had on British soil in that period?
As far as I know, none.
Dead agents, blown covers?
I wouldn't know, Mom.
Also none. How about the number of prevented or secretly resolved conflicts? Countless. This way.
I need to check your clearance, sir.
He's with me, there's no need.
Mum.
Never before have we had a success rate like now. Never before the precision, safety, intel quality, and conflict resolution to such high standards. Unprecedented and unrivaled by anyone else in the intelligence community. This is the reason for our success. Meet Thea, the world's first and only second-generation quantum computer.
I thought those things were theoretical at best.
That's what we want you to
I'm
think.
not high, just
Thayer
tired.
synthesizes millions of data streams
Had a really fucking long
instantaneously to
training
make
session
statistical
today.
deductions on matters of national security. The system's all but wiped the floor with GCHQ. Since its activation, we've saved more lives, thwarted more attacks, lost fewer people. That was Thayer in
man.
Iceland, in case you were wondering, guiding you every step of the way.
And yet it was wrong.
Thayer gave you a less than 1% chance of success. You simply won't lose.
I didn't realize those were actual odds.
Feels so
Still,
hot.
You proved an important point of mine. You
Feel
see,
like
I
my
strongly
body
believe that
temperature
there
has
is still
just
a need for
increased
such
lately.
human flourishes as heart and intuition in modern spycraft. In fact, that's the very reason I'm bringing back the double O's.
Oh, I heard you were cleared for advanced training?
I am?
You did an impossible thing. I would like you to do it again.
And if I can't?
Well, then I don't have much use for you, do I? Now get the hell out of my Faraday cage.
Come on. I'll take you to Q-Lab.
So, what's in Q-Lab?
Apart from Q, I wouldn't really know where to begin. You'll see.
You really should work on that infuriatingly secretive side of yours.
Oh. But you don't think that I'm hitting all of the marks? Well, how about this? I'm sure there'll be a surprise or two for you in there.
Bit over the top, perhaps.
You just wait and see.
How about that?
I'm sure Q's waiting for you. Oh, and Dr. Tan asked to see you as well. Look for a sign that says Taksim.
Should I position the flamethrower next to the exhaust pipe? Or beneath it?
Triumph.
According to
That's
the specs, it
really
goes
cute.
below the exhaust at an upward 22-degree angle.
It's all British.
Can't believe we're being paid for this.
The hell is that piece of shit? Is that a Land Rover? Oh my god, it's a Range Rover. Oh my god. Oh, as if they'd ever use that. It's the most unreliable fucking car ever made. Apparently the newer ones are better, but
James
oh
Bond.
man, I'd never get one of those.
Stand still.
I'm looking for someone called Q.
And you found him. Right, step through here, please. Now, look into these. Hold still, eyes open.
What was that?
It's your lenses. They need a little time to calibrate, so you won't see anything just yet. Ah, interesting. Right, follow me. I have something for you. Pick one.
I already have a watch.
Oh, you do? May I see it? Now you get a new one. Now choose one.
What's the difference?
This one's maroon. That's navy, burgundy, winter
green.
You're the first recruit to receive one. Give it a moment to calibrate. Switch on the Q lens overlay.
Gary, watch out.
Now, use the watch to turn off the two lamps on the table in front of you. Great work, Bond. With a little practice, it will become second nature. It has a variable active range and a 360 reach angle. To be honest, we haven't tested it to its limit yet. Why don't you give it a try?
I like it. Don't change a thing.
Oops, it must still be set to my profile. Well done, though. Let me reset your watch to field mode. If it runs out of power mid-mission, you can recharge it from whatever electrical devices are available, such as the battery on the bench there. Montgomery, we need a cleanup over here.
Right away.
Oh, James Bond. I've been monitoring you quite closely.
The last time someone told me that, I had to leave the country in some haste.
Oh, which country?
Which time?
Dr. Selena Tan. I'm in charge of tactical simulations. My department specializes in performance management and skill development. I've been working with Thea on a prototype based on the Iceland incident. Once the system is operational, I'd very much like you to have a go.
Oh, I'm not sure. Ever been one for nostalgia?
You're intrigued, admit it. Come and see me after training. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Guessing this is more than a lamp.
Correct.
I need to
It's
go.
also a stunt.
First time. Well, every time feels like the first time. Welcome to Q-Lab.
Hey.
You all sorted?
Yes.
If you're ready to leave, I'll brief you on advanced training. Your keys.
For?
Your digs. MI6 is setting you up in safe houses for the next 6 months. You're with Cressida and Monroe.
So we're not going back to Malta?
I show you this and you want to go back to bunk beds. I'd kill for a place like that. But yes, you'll be going back and forth between MI6 and Malta for advanced training. And when in London, you'll just have to slum it in Bayswater.
Oh.
Stephen Bright.
Foreign Secretary Bright. Bond.
I was just dropping off a few boxes for Cressida. I hope we'll meet again.
Hey, Bond. Welcome home.
Hey, guys. Hey, Bond. You gotta check this place out. Rooms are in the back. We left you the worst one. End of the hall to the left.
Monroe. It's a great room, Bond. Bond, in here. I've got something for you.
Hey, Cress. Foreign Secretary Bright is your dad. I just met him at the door.
Yes, didn't you know?
What have you got for me?
The key to your room. Obviously, the best room's already taken, but the second best one's still free.
Really?
Yeah. How Monroe makes decisions is a mystery to me. The key's on my desk.
Boxing glove?
It's for you. Practically had your name on it.
Is that meant to be a jab? Oh, this is me then. Yeah, this does beat the bunk beds.
Ugh, Monroe. Are you hacking my laptop again? Stop it.
Oh, I can't. This watch is too cool.
What are you up to? Trying to read my messages, you creep?
Studster555 wants to see you again.
Ugh, please. I mean it. Stop it. You're going to break it. Find something else to hack, please.
All right, all right. Something to hack.
What am I supposed to be doing?
Boys, someone needs to unpack the kitchen. What's for dinner?
Leave it. Let's head out and celebrate.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Not bad, eh?
It's all right. For a little while, I suppose. Now you're here, you can help us settle something. I'll just get Monroe. Hey, Monroe. Mind coming to the kitchen?
Coming.
Bond, you'll be the judge. What do you say? This grotesque pastiche of hypermasculine tropes, or this piece massively commanding negative space with a quiet intensity?
In other words, the cool picture or the boring one?
The poster. Sorry, Cress. I like the explosive and uncontrolled aesthetics. It's inspiring.
Knew I could count on you, mate.
If that poster goes up here, your shoes go in your room, Monroe.
Those two things are completely unrelated.
Let's go eat.
Thank God, I'm starving. Heard there's a decent Indian just around the corner. There's just enough time before we head back to Malta. Monroe?
Always do the unexpected. It's the first rule of spycraft. Task is simple. Go in and get the flag. No lethal force is allowed unless the opponent has intent to kill. This may not be real guns, but we still play by those rules. Is that understood? Bond, your first Cressida and Monroe will be your radio support. Try not to embarrass yourself.
Earpieces in, boys. What's our strategy?
We just have to wing it, won't we?
Greenway emphasized our code of conduct.
I have to go to bed. I am highly tired. But we'll pick this up tomorrow. And probably play some Battletoads. I go sleepy sleep now. But hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Don't have to train tomorrow. So we'll probably do some additional gaming and shit. Poop. But thanks again, everybody. And I will see you all tomorrow. Sweet dreams.